damn morning, Americans. I am live and it is 5. This is Brian, and I don't know if you heard my first words, but good damn morning, Americans. Stolen from Jericho Green, because today is the perfect day to talk about America. Now, there are better days, of course, and I'm going to take a few minutes. We're going to start slow and give some people an opportunity to come in and join the conversation. But today is definitely a great day to talk about loving America, because every day is a great day to talk about loving America, without question. So, first of all, what I want to do is I actually want to do a couple things here. And first and foremost, I want to encourage everyone, which I haven't done in the past, but I want to encourage everyone to share this link. I'm going to say it multiple times. Share the link now, share it later, share it whenever you may need to share it. But by all means, share the link. You know, let's get it out. Let's make the conversation as big and let's get as many eyes on it, and let's get as many people in here with us as possible. So I just want to go ahead and make that comment to you here. I'm actually trying to go ahead and myself share the link on a few places, which I'm hoping to do. I'm having a problem doing that. I'm not able to necessarily just grab a link from this video. So if you can post a link in the comment thread, that would be great. A shareable link on what you can do to join us. Hopefully the one that I'm about to share works. We have a few extra people with us here today. So let's find out. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the absolute freest country on the planet. My name is Brian Gregg. I am very happy and proud to tell you that. I am glad to be doing all of these videos showing my face, because I am very happy to share how I feel with you. I am proud to have freedom of speech in the United States of America. I am proud to be able to state my opinion. I'm proud to be able to share information. I'm proud to be able to say whatever I want and have the freedom to do that. It's one of the reasons why it is okay to love America. There are many places in this world, and I'm sure, you could comment and tell me places right now where gays don't have rights. They get killed and pushed off of roofs. People own slaves currently in 2020. People don't have free speech. People don't have guns. People can't start businesses. People can't even talk freely in communist countries. They have no free speech. They don't even have free thought, really. People can't play video games in China. Imagine a world like that. But we can play video games. We can do whatever we want because we live in America. And as much as I'm going to talk about, loving America today, as you can see by my Captain America t-shirt, and also up there by my custom, which Rich French just brought up in the comments, that is my custom Marvel Legends Captain America Avengers Endgame Battle Damage action figure that was made by a very close personal friend of mine and given to me as a Christmas gift, which is why I have it right there, right next to my bed, not with the rest of my figures, because I want it behind me, protecting me like Captain America does. Because you know what Captain America does? If you've watched those movies and you know about Captain America, he loves his country. He will die for his country. But more than anything else, he stands up to bullies. Okay? He will always stand up to a bully. Before the serum, when he was just a skinny little kid, he would sit there and he'd fight these bullies and say, I can do this all day. Because he'll never back down and he will never, ever quit. Okay? And that's the same message and the same example that I'm trying to set here. By never giving up, never quitting, never keeping your opinion to yourself, telling people how you feel. Be wrong. Say your opinion and be wrong. Guess what? There's a freedom that comes with saying what you want to say and then being wrong. And being proven wrong. Don't let someone convince you that you're wrong when you're right. That's very important. It's easily misconstrued that when you are absolutely right and someone comes to you with an ideologically twisted argument where they basically convince you that what's right is wrong and what's morally correct and the morally right thing to do is somehow the morally unjust thing to do, and then makes your argument seem incorrect and makes you feel backwards, that's not right. You know the sense of right and wrong, which is why option number 2 was morals and values. I was going to talk a little about ideological subversion and try to talk about what we as Americans know and believe to be the right thing to do and what we would raise our kids to do versus the wrong thing to do and what we would never teach our children to do. But that's not what we'll dabble into that. To be honest, we're probably going to dabble into a little bit of everything today because, again, a large part of what I love about America lies in literally every single thing around me. The videos over the past 2 days are what I love about America. The discourse that we have on Facebook is what I love about America. By the way, Rich French, Captain America, yes, he was in the military in the comics. Steve Rogers joined the military as a skinny little kid with a lot of heart. And basically, and I want you to know, too, I have an air conditioner going on behind me. I'm going to shut it off at the moment, but I don't want to sweat like I was yesterday, so I might turn it back on. If the sound is bothering you guys, let me know. But the bottom line here is he was in the military. He was picked up as a young kid, skinny as hell, short, who just wanted nothing more than to be in the military. He tried and tried and tried again. His best friend, Bucky Barnes, got accepted. And he kept trying, and finally, on the last time, he got accepted. Agent Carter saw his heart, his commanding officer saw his heart, and decided that with his heart and his determination, he would be, and his passion towards doing what was right, because Captain America will always do what is right. He always does what is right, and this is what is so important. This is why, and I don't mean to spoil the Avengers trilogy for you, the Avengers movies for you, but you've most likely already watched them because it was literally the most highest grossing movie of all time in every single metric that you can possibly measure a movie in. Captain America lifts up what is, I don't have it next to me, what is the greatest relic in all of Marvel Comics, which is Mjolnir, which is Thor's hammer, and only those who are worthy can lift the hammer, and what makes you worthy is being pure at heart. And Captain America is able to lift the hammer because just like Thor, who is technically a god in the Marvel universe, Captain America is so pure of heart, always does the right thing, 100%, is always on. There will never be, even though there was a story in the comics with the bad guy Captain America, but he was brainwashed and there was a whole different thing there. But he's pure of heart. He can lift the hammer. Captain America is a beast. Am I comparing myself to Captain America? I don't know. Are you? But with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about America here, and I want to kind of, really speak on, oh man, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to, I tried to share my link today with, there we go, we're still good. I tried to share my link today with a new group of people, and I don't think I was able to do it because I couldn't find a shareable link to this video, which is unfortunate. But the reason I'm here, I want to explain a couple things. I should not even have to have a conversation about why it is okay to love America. This shouldn't have to happen. This shouldn't have to happen. We live in the greatest country in the world. And this is your country. For most of you watching, this is your country. And if you're not from America and you're from Europe, you're from Great Britain, wherever you might be, and this isn't your country, the odds are your country lacks the freedoms that ours does, and you do love America because you look at it and say, man, I wish we were as free as you guys. You might have a lot of corruption going on right now, but at the very least, at least there's people in there who are working to stop the corruption and give the people back their freedom. So with that being said, I want to explain before we go any further why people don't love America. Because again, there are probably people watching this who aren't ideologically subverted or who saw the headline and said, why it's okay to love America? I didn't know it wasn't okay to love America. Neither did I. I had no idea. But then I found out that the American flag, the concept of patriotism, and loving the United States of America is considered racist, people. Can you believe this? It is considered racist to love this country, which obviously that's clearly not true. Labeling things as racist that quite simply fundamentally are not racist is part of cultural Marxism, which I had mentioned yesterday. And a friend of mine actually said cultural Marxism with a lot of postmodernism, which, again, really has to do with the new... I'm not an expert on postmodernism, so I'm not going to sit here and give you a spiel on it. You know, we could do that one day, and I'll give myself a solid amount of time to look into postmodernism and what it means and how it's being used. But it basically has to do with, you know, trying to rebrand things in our country to mean something different. You know, changing the definition of words, to my knowledge, you know, which, again, I'm not all for. So I want to explain a couple things, kind of how this happened. Traditionally, our country has been a very patriotic country, okay? Going back, you know, looking back at the history of time, we have always and forever been a people who have been very proud to be Americans, and we have always stood tall as Americans, you know, and it's really baffling that we've been able to manipulate so many people to be against the foundation of what this country represents. And when you really look at it and you see it broken down, it has more to do with redefining what this country actually means versus hating what this country truly does stand for, which is what I'm here to talk about today. So first, let's talk about what you sitting at home watching this may have been convinced that America represents, okay? You've been convinced that America represents, first and foremost, the trendy thing, racism. You've been convinced we're a racist country. That's simply not true. I touched on this the past couple days, you know, and people are like, well, America did slavery. Well, slavery existed for about roughly 150 years before America ever came into existence. And I believe that's just its history in North America. That's not dating its history, for instance, like how the Egyptian pyramids were also built by slaves, because I believe those predate Christ, which is obviously thousands of years ago. So slavery is an institution that has gone on far longer than modern history wants to look at. And in Egypt, I promise you, it wasn't rich white people enslaving black people. It's just not, it's not reality. It's not reality. It's not, you know what I mean? Wake up, people. Think for yourself, okay? I want to stress this too. The point of my past couple videos, I'm not trying to tell you, I am going to tell you correct information. I am going to tell you what's wrong, and I am going to tell you what's a lie, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to fill it in with the accurate information. But more importantly, people need to understand, oh, son of a bitch. People need to understand, oh, this, you're fucking kidding me. Here we go. I brought paper and a marker in here to draw diagrams. People need to understand exactly what's going on and how we've gotten to this point. And I'm trying to teach people how to think outside the box, okay? And I'm going to draw a little diagram here to do this. Now, my writing is awful, okay? So we're going to throw away the first piece of paper because I've already made a mistake. That's why I got a stack here. Okay? I think we can all agree that's you, okay? This represents you. Now, what I'm drawing now represents the media. Okay? Now, this is the media. This is the media presenting you with information, okay? They have walls on the outside, okay? These walls are known as Google and Facebook and the like. They're just two examples, okay? Google and Facebook. My writing is terrible. But these are the walls that are presenting you from seeing outside of what the media presents to you, okay? Now, if you're saying, well, gee, I can't be programmed. I don't even watch the news. You don't have to. Have you ever been in a car and someone said to you, hey, did you hear what this person did? Oh, did you hear about this story? Oh, did you hear what this one did now? You don't have to watch the news. If someone's watching it and someone's talking about it, they can brainwash you the same way that you've been. And if you hear information come from someone and you take it as fact without researching it yourself, any piece of information, even what I say, then you're falling victim to the same thing. So everything that I say that you doubt me on and that you question, please go research and tell me that I'm not telling the truth, because I'd love to know myself. If you can prove me wrong, you'd really stop me from embarrassing myself here on these videos and saying all this incorrect information. Unfortunately, I've done this, okay? Now, outside of the media here, okay, is, I spelled the word reality wrong, and I'm correcting it, okay? But outside of the media here is reality, okay? Now, the media is intercepting, along with these people, your ability to see reality. Reality actually looks more like this, okay? Reality actually looks more like that because it circles all around, and it's... And the reason why this doesn't completely encapsulate you is because you can always choose not to look at it, because over here is Hollywood, games, and sports. Okay? These are distractions. Okay? HW is Hollywood. Okay? Hollywood, games, and sports. These are the distractions of the world. Okay? There, you either, if you want to look at reality, you have to go through the media to get there. Or you could be distracted and look at Hollywood, games, and sports. Now, Google does a great job censoring media that you see. But fortunately now there are, search engines like DuckDuckGo that allow you to circumnavigate Google, okay, DuckDuckGo, and also research. My writing is really terrible. Research, DuckDuckGo and research allow you to circumnavigate and have access to reality. This is what is causing such a big problem for the media, because they are losing their ability to control what you are allowed and what you are not allowed to see, okay? Now, something you have to understand, when people think about the media lying to you and the media manipulating you, so often they focus on the stories that the media runs and whether or not these stories are accurate and correct. And that is a large part of the manipulation that's going on. But a much larger and more important issue than even that is what they choose not to talk about. You must understand, okay? Just like me right now, relating this to this situation, okay? I have come on to this video and I have decided to have a topic that I'm going to talk about. I chose to talk about why it is great to love America, why it's okay to love America, okay? And that's the purpose of this video here. And one of the reasons that it's so great is because we still are not censored and we have the freedom legally to search for this accurate information. Things like China, places like China, do not have those freedoms, okay? But within our media, they are so focused on certain issues that they choose to talk about. Whereas if I came in here and chose to talk about the same issue every single day, you would say you're pushing an agenda, and you would be correct, because I'm coming in here and I'm saying the same thing. And in all reality, I am quote unquote pushing an agenda, but my agenda is wake up, people, and think for yourselves. Okay, stop opening your mouth. This is how most people receive information. Okay, this is someone else's hand, just feeding them, no questions. What are you feeding me? Nothing. No questions. Ask questions of everything. Question everything around you at all times. We still have the freedom to think here in America. The thought police do not exist yet in reality by the law. The thought police are your peers on social media. The thought police are your peers in the workplace. The thought police can be your family sitting around the dinner table with you. Someone who tells you it's not okay to say something like that. Don't say things like that because you'll offend someone. Hey, you might want to keep that quiet because you don't want to upset anybody. That's the thought police, okay? Other people shunning you into silence, but it's not real. It only exists if you allow it to exist. And I promise you, the power of the brain and the ability to block out this negativity, it's much easier to do once you jump in. It's like a pool. Nobody wants to get wet and everyone's afraid of the water, but once you jump in and your whole body's wet, you don't want to leave. You're in the pool and you know how comfortable it is to be there. And it's the same thing with opening your mind, asking questions of literally everything. If you believe something and you haven't questioned it yet, then you don't believe it. You've just been told it was true. And you've taken it and you've believed the person who told you. You don't believe the information. That's the problem. A lot of people today focus on news sources. Both sides. I hear conservative, CNN is fake. I hear Democrats say, Fox is fake. Guess what? Anyone has the same ability to push an agenda. But when you open a story from CNN and the source behind the article is an anonymous person, I'm sorry, that's not true. And I would say the same thing about Fox. If Fox opens up the story and says, and has a front page story, and it's something that's incredibly difficult to believe, and it says it's from an anonymous source, I'm not even saying it's not true. I'm saying to take it with a grain of salt. In most cases, it's not true. And in my opinion, from what I've gone to see, and you can look back at the past 4 years over liberal coverage, and we're going to say anti-Trump coverage, and you see how much anonymous sources and what they say end up being true, it's literally 0% of the time. Zero anonymous sources end up being true. Now, on the right, I don't know, because like I said, I really don't follow right-wing news. I get my news by looking at the left, the narrative that's set, and then I research the narrative that they're presenting me. So, for instance, if I see something that says, Trump signs executive order today, rolling back regulations and hurting the environment, I click the CNN article, I scroll down to where it links me directly to Trump's executive order, and then I read Trump's executive order word for word. I don't need to go to a right-wing news outlet to explain to me how to interpret something that's very easy to explain. I just go directly to the source document, I read it, and I interpret it for myself. That's how you learn in this country. That's what you have to do. If there is ever a news story, ever, anywhere, that is looking to explain to you how to interpret something, whether it's a law, whether it's an executive order, even most importantly, whether it's a speech or a video, and there's a whole news article with tons of words telling you how to interpret a video that all you have to do is hit play and watch for yourself, they're manipulating you, okay? And in America, we still have the freedom to look past that. Now, thankfully, we do have this amazing freedom, but it has its drawbacks because you can have media that's tremendously manipulative, but they still are protected by freedoms. So us as Americans, we have to be smart enough to read between the lines and look for the truth and try to figure out what's actually going on here, which is very important. Not to ever believe what you're told, but to look into everything that you're told without question. There is nothing you should believe blindly, okay? Because like I said, when you're believing information blindly, you're not actually believing the information. You're trusting the source that gave it to you without doing your own research. Just like if someone tells you, don't touch that, it's hot. What's the first thing you do when you're a little kid? You don't believe them. You touch it every single time. And then you burn it. That's research, people. Wake up. That's research. That's what research is. Testing it out. Testing your theory. When I believe something, I go to Facebook and I make a post and I challenge people. Challenge me. Go ahead. Challenge me. People say I like to bait people. Hell yeah, I bait people. Come in and have an intellectual conversation with me. Test my brain. I beg you, test me. Prove me wrong so I can know the truth. Because I'm not concerned with being right, people. I'm not concerned with being right. I'm concerned with knowing the truth. Okay? Another thing, I'm not making any money off of this video. And by the way, what I'd love for you to do is if you could, now that we have some viewers in here, take a second to hit the share button and share this video on your page, please. I beg of you. Can you share this video for me? I would be absolutely privileged so we can get some extra people in here, because there is nothing more that I would like than to be able to, reach as many people as possible. Potentially even have some challenge to me. If you're a hater and you think your people are going to challenge me, bring them in. Let's hear about it. I want to know. So we have some more comments I'm going to take a look at. Turn on the AC. I couldn't hear it at all. You know what? It sounds like a damn good idea. Okay, sing the national anthem. Maybe later. Maybe I'll sing it as Hulk Hogan. Captain America is a cheater, bro. He took some crazy steroid. Fair enough, and I can give you that. But at the end of the day, when you're dealing with war and you're dealing with Hydra, who also has some people on crazy steroids, they leveled the playing field. Sing the national anthem? Probably not. Are you proud to be an American? Yes, I am. Can you please write them backwards? The camera is mirrored, so it looks backward. Oh, shit. I wish I knew that. Kind of looks like a blimp. Kind of looks like a Pokeball. Hey, great. You don't have gray hairs yet. Wrestling. Very true. I don't have gray hairs yet, and I still have a good hairline. If you take a look, forehead's not too big. Hairline's working well for me. I'm very fortunate. What else? I hate the current. I choose to stay in the 90s, early 2000s. Show us your wrestling collection. I'm not going to do that right now. 90s, 2000 music is the best. It is great. How dare you have a mind of your own? How dare you make videos that I'm interested in? Isn't that the damn truth? How dare I, and even more so, how dare I praise this country where freedom and the American dream of showing up as an immigrant and a non-American citizen legally and then being able to become a tremendously successful entrepreneur still exists and is alive and well today. How dare I showcase that to people? How dare I showcase to people that not only are we the least racist country, but we've fought a war to end slavery and then sent American troops to other countries in multiple instances and fought wars on foreign soil to end slavery over there. We must be the worst racist country ever if we're sending American troops all over the world to end slavery. But wait, that's also assuming that slavery equals racism, which we've all decided is, or what I've decided, and I've explained to you is not true. Because if slavery equals racism, explain to me Egyptian slaves. The oldest slaves, I believe, that we have record of. Okay? And again, you could say maybe the pyramids were built by aliens. Maybe they were. But as of right now, people who don't believe in aliens say that it was done by slaves. And if it was done by slaves, they were done by Egyptian slaves because they simply didn't have the technology and the manpower to bus tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people over from other places in those eras. Pre-Christ, pyramid eras, pre-written language where we have hieroglyphics on the wall. This is what I'm saying to you guys. The Bible was written when we had written word. The Egyptian pyramids were built before written language. Okay? This is reality. This is 100% reality that I'm speaking to you people. Slavery does not equal racism. Slavery is slavery. It is mind control. It is using wealth and power and, means and resources to enslave people against their will. It is using manipulation. It is not racism. There is no slaves today in America in 2020. That only exists in other places. And if you look in those other places, it is poor people enslaved by rich people. There is no such thing as a poor person who owns a slave, because that slave would wake up and say, "Why am I listening to you?" It's that simple. It's that simple. Slavery and racism are two different things. And I am a proud American. I understand this because America fights against slavery. America fights on behalf of racial equality. That's why the Constitution treats all people equal under the law. That's why all American citizens are equal under the United States Constitution, with the exception of, government elected officials and people who serve our country, because I believe that government elected officials are held to different laws and different standards in certain situations, which I'm saying is actually not right. I believe that was put in there by corrupt people. Another reason why this country is great, I want to get to, and it involves a reason why you might think this country is terrible. And you would say, look at the corruption. Look at the corruption in America. You're so corrupt. I can't believe how corrupt America is. Isn't it terrible? This country's a terrible place. Guess what? If I own a pizza restaurant, okay, and I make the best pizza in the world, okay, and I sell my pizza restaurant to fucking John Jacobson, okay, and John Jacobson is a rapist and a pedophile and a drug dealer, okay, and he's selling drugs to children and raping them and killing them. It doesn't mean that the pizza is bad. It means that the organization was infiltrated with bad people, okay? You can have a good premise, which is the freedom that America brings, the American dream, the concept of equality that America represents, and it can be hijacked by evil actors. It does not make the concept of what America represents evil, okay? It makes those people evil, and those people sending you the message that America is evil, those people are also evil, okay? But bad actors in the American government and corruption, the swamp, if you will, does not make America evil. Because the swamp can be cleaned and the flag can be raised up the flagpole. And we can stand proud and we can salute. And we can always salute. And you should always salute your flag. And you should always stand tall. And you should always be proud of this country. You know who the most proud people in this country are? Some of the most proud. And if you don't believe me, ask around. This is real life. Ask around. And again, you might have some people, okay, that are going to disagree and have personal reasons why. But in general, the most proud people to be Americans are immigrants, legal immigrants who worked hard, came to this country, learned about our history, contributed to our society in a positive way, abided the law, and then eventually became a United States citizen. Those are some of the most proud Americans that you're going to find anywhere. And you know why? Because they appreciate the American dream, because they worked for it and they earned it. The problem is, in the United States of America, here today in 2020, schools are indoctrinating people, like I went over yesterday, teaching people that you are not going to be successful. People, how many times have you heard growing up, if you do not get a college education, you will not be anything in this country? How many times have you heard, don't follow your dreams of singing and being in a band. It's just a childhood fantasy. Get a real job. How many times have you heard that? How many times have you heard, quit fantasizing about something you're not going to be able to do and go get a real job? You're not lucky enough to achieve success. You're not good enough. People, our own parents indoctrinated us. You might be doing it to your own kids because you believe you're telling them the right things. I'm going to give you a quick example, okay? And from what I've found, this actually woke me up. When I found out about this a long time ago, I went, holy shit, that's how I want to raise my kids, okay? I don't like this person at all. I'm not a fan. But Floyd Money Mayweather. Now, if you don't know who Floyd Money Mayweather is, he's, it breaks my heart to admit this, but he might be the greatest boxer ever to live. I'm sorry, he might. It's actually giving me chills to say that out loud, not just because the air conditioning's pointing on me, because I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather, but I respect that he might be the greatest boxer ever to live. Now, do we know? No, we don't know, because you got to fight everybody. He's only 145 pounds, and there's all types of weight classes and two different genders who both box. We don't know if he's the best boxer ever, but he's 51-0. He's never lost. And funny story about Floyd Mayweather, his father was also a professional boxer. And you know how Floyd Mayweather was raised? He was raised as a child, training to be successful. When most kids are doing their homework and out on the playground, Floyd Mayweather was bobbing and weaving underneath strings that his dad would tie up. He was doing obstacle courses. He was hitting bags. He was getting faster. He was training to be the best. You know why? Because his dad instilled in him at a young age that he can be the best. And Floyd Mayweather, if you ask him, one thing he's always known is that he is the best. He's never doubted it because he's never had a reason, because no one's ever told him anything other than you can be the best. Guess how many people have stepped up to try to prove him wrong? 51. Guess how many were successful? 0. Because he never doubted himself. Michael Jordan had never had doubt in himself ever. If you believe that anyone who has ever been tremendously successful in this country, okay, whether it's Bill Gates, Michael Jordan, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, whatever your definition of success is in this country, none of these people have went to accomplish their dreams believing that failure was an option. It's the one thing that you hear in common amongst every single person who is successful. Okay? It's called a winner's mindset or a successful mindset. It's also called the secret or the law of attraction. But that's something we can get into in another video, but I'll still touch on it here a bit when it's necessary. The law of attraction states that you have the ability to manipulate this universe using the energy and using the thoughts that you put out into the universe. For instance, okay, if I have to run and I have to clear a gap, okay, and here's where I start and here's where I have to end, okay, and I'm going to run over here and I'm going to jump and I have to clear the gap and land over here. If I don't believe wholeheartedly that I'm going to make that, there's a much stronger possibility that I won't. But if I believe wholeheartedly, there's no doubt. I've already made it. I'm seeing myself on the other side. That's how strong your mental projection has to be. It's not, I think I can do this. It's not, I know I can do this. It's, this is happening. This is where I'm going to be. This is how my life is going to play out. The Law of Attraction. Look it up on your own. The Secret. It's a great documentary. Okay? It's definitely something that will let you know that your mind is far more powerful than you give it credit for. Okay? Because positive... Oh, here we go. Alliance Security people. What is the first key to success? First person to type it into the box wins a shout out. What is that key number 1, people? And you know where I'm going with this. It's going to pop up any second now. It is the most important of all of the keys to success. The second key to success from my era is the ability to follow direction. And the third key to success is the ambition and desire to be successful in everything that you do, which also goes along with the keys to success. But the first one, which I'm very surprised, I have no idea what type of delay that I'm on. I'm very surprised this hasn't been posted yet. But the first key to success is PMA. And PMA stands for positive mental attitude. Because you cannot get into anything in this world and not believe that you are absolutely right and not believe that you are 100% going to be successful in your venture. Because you won't be. You won't be. It's called self-fulfilling prophecy. If you allow yourself to believe that you're not going to be successful, of course you're not going to be successful. You have to believe without question. There we go. Kenny Costa, PMA, positive mental attitude. There we go. Okay? So without question, one of the beauties of being in America is being able to make yourself into a success. If you think there are obstacles in front of you, mow them down. And this isn't a motivational speech. I'm not here to tell you why you're great. Tony Robbins already has a great program for that. But I'm here to let you know that in America, you don't have a communist government holding you back from doing these things. Okay? We don't live in a socialist nation. We live in a capitalist nation. The definition of capitalism means free market, means if you want to be successful, then build a better mousetrap than the person before you. Okay? People vote every single day with their dollars. People make choices with their dollars. Okay? If you have the best restaurant in town, and then I open a restaurant right next door to you, and I slander you, and I say terrible things about you, but my food is terrible, no one's going to care. Because they're not going to pay money to eat my food. They want good food. People vote with their dollars. Build a better mousetrap. Who cares about negativity? Be positive in your own mind state. Focus on your own successes. Be responsible and accountable for all of your own actions, because you can never grow unless you are accountable for your own actions. And this is a fact. Okay, this isn't hyperbole. You need to be accountable. If you make a mistake when you're trying to be successful, but you don't admit to yourself that what you did was a mistake and you believe it's right, you're going to continue to repeat it because you believe it's a correct action. You have to step back and say, this action that I committed was not correct. I have to acknowledge that I made a mistake here and I'm wrong. And then you correct the incorrect action and you move forward without replicating the incorrect action and only replicating the correct actions, bringing your chances of success much higher. And this is a freedom that you're given in America. Okay? You know why else we should love America? Equality. I touched on it earlier, and I'm going to touch on it again. Because what makes equality important is each and every single one of us. Okay? I'm taking a look right now, and I'm seeing 3 different names. Okay? I'm just going to scroll. We have a gentleman named Rami. We have a gentleman named Jay Richter. Okay? We have a gentleman named Rich French. We have a gentleman named Joshua Pilardi. And then we have my friend named Ashley V. Ashtar, which is not her name. But what I'm trying to point out is that these are people from a wide array of backgrounds, okay? And we are all equal. If I am wrong and there is a law that makes us not equal, other than affirmative action, don't throw that in my face, because that is the one law on the books that I am aware of that does affect people unequally, and also the hate crime law, neither one of which I am against. I'm not against it. And if I'm a racist for supporting affirmative action, and there are possibly people who would say that I am a racist for supporting affirmative action, the bottom line is I don't care enough about affirmative action because I believe in myself enough that affirmative action wouldn't hold me back. If there are people who, I believe that every single black person in this country could be just equally as successful without affirmative action. However, I don't believe that affirmative action is taking anyone who's truly qualified and dooming them to success, because there are just too many avenues in America to be successful. If you fail at one, you try another. That's the beauty of America, okay? This isn't a video game where you get 3 lives and it's game over. The only time it's game over is if you get killed, okay? If you die. And as long as we don't die, and if we don't break the law, and we don't do stupid shit, and we don't abuse our bodies, then we won't die, okay? Fun fact, I used to drink. I used to drink a lot. Here comes the drinking comments of the people who used to know about my drinking ways, which is every single one of you. I don't drink anymore, okay? I'm not an alcoholic anymore. I don't drink. If I go out on occasion, like, just to kind of explain, I don't have the same relationship with alcohol that I used to have because I don't love being drunk anymore. I love being in control. I love being in control of myself. I don't even smoke that much pot anymore. And I live in Massachusetts, where it's legal to recreationally enjoy marijuana. And I don't do it because I love my brain so much. I love my brain. Thank you. Ooh, I'm going to hug my brain. I love it. Because I'm a free thinker, man. I'm a free thinker. I'm able to see shit for what it is. I'm able to look, and I'm able to Jamie, you drank? She had no idea. She's just finding out about this right now. Please don't tell her about the stories of me drinking. She'll get very upset. I'm being sarcastic, everyone. But the bottom line is that I am a free thinker, okay? I am a free thinker. I am someone who, again, have a conversation with me about anything. I'm going to question you. If you are a doctor with two separate doctorates. You did 8 years to become a doctor, and then you did another 8 years to get a separate PhD. I will still question you when you try to tell me something because I want to know why. See, when I say question something, I'm not telling you to say, that's a lie, prove it to me. That's not questioning something, okay? Questioning something is why. When you see a news article, the goal isn't open the news article and say, what are they telling me? That's not the point of questioning why. Questioning why isn't opening a news article and saying, are they telling me the truth? Is this real? No, that's not what questioning a news article is. Questioning a news article is opening up a news article and saying, what are they trying to get me to think? What are they trying to influence me to believe? And then in most cases, find that thing that they're trying to get you to believe and run it against your set of predetermined ideals, okay? Your belief of what is right and what is wrong, okay? And I can't wait to talk about ideals, and I want to take a moment to say, share this video, everybody. Hit the share button and share this video. It is a great ideal, like Michael Hayes would say. And share this video with people, and let's try to get some more people in here and add it to the conversation. I'm going to say it hopefully 10 more times I remember. But question everything and ask the question why, and ask what are they trying to make me believe, and why would they try to convince me of that? These are the two things that you should ask. My phone is going off and I don't want to check it, but I'm going to look to see if it's relevant to this conversation. It is not relevant to this conversation. So I'm going to continue along with my next point of why America is so great. And that is opportunity, people. Opportunity. Okay? I worked with a lot of you in sales. What do we call a lead? It's an opportunity. Okay? And that's just sales talk. What is America called? It's not called the land of racism. It's not called the land of corruption. It's called the land of opportunity. No immigrant says, I'm going to fill out papers because I want to move to America because I want to live in the most racist and corrupt country in the world. No, nobody says that. Nobody says that, people. Wake up. It's not real. Nobody says this. Real people don't believe this, okay? Indoctrinated Americans who have their opinions spoon-fed to them and are conditioned how to think and conditioned how to believe think this, okay? I'm doing these videos because I'm trying to normalize this type of conversation. I'm trying to normalize this stuff. Everywhere you look, you're shunned for saying America is great. You're shunned for believing that this country is good because what they're trying to take away from you is opportunity. That's what they hate. They don't want you to rise up. They don't want you to become successful. And I know what you're thinking. Well, only the few are successful. The many are unsuccessful. Incorrect. Only the few, the many are the ones who stop themselves. Only the few can push past that and try. And if you try and you fail, you've still succeeded because you didn't allow someone else to convince you not to try. Remember this. I'm not making any money off of this, people. This isn't a business. You can look through this page. You can look through the link on the video. Quite frankly, there is no link to a PayPal account or a donation account. You can't give me Facebook bucks or whatever the fuck Facebook does, okay? You can't do it to me because right now, I'm not making any money off of this. I have nothing financially to gain. I have nothing to gain from doing this. I'm telling you people something to empower you. I am telling you this to enlighten you. And I am telling you this to force you to enlighten yourselves. Ask questions. Embrace opportunity. Embrace freedom. Embrace free thought. Do not silence yourself because others tell you to. Do not be afraid to offend others. It's not illegal yet. But if the Marxists will have their way, then it will be illegal. If the left in today's 2020 has their way, it will be illegal. Don't lose our freedom, people. Remember that we're all fighting for the same thing. Whether you're on the left or you're on the right, as a regular person, not as a politician, not as an organizing, a community organizer or a leader for these radical groups, these people are not out for your best interest, man. These people are not looking out for your freedom. I promise you that. Okay? Because one thing you got to understand, and this is something that a lot of people don't realize, there is a huge difference between freedoms and protections. Freedoms are equal around the board. They are colorblind. Okay? They do not judge. Freedom is not prejudice. Okay? But protections can be. Because every single protection takes away someone else's freedom. Every single protection is telling someone else what they can and cannot do in the sake of protecting a certain individual or group of individuals. Protections are not always okay in my book. Freedoms, always okay. Number one most important thing in this country. And if this video is reversed, I just realized you can't read that my shirt says Team Captain with the Captain America flag on it. But you need to understand, I'm out here because I don't have these political conversations. I don't have these discussions, or I didn't for many years of my life. Many years. I've felt the way I feel today. This isn't some new thing, okay? This isn't a new idea that I've had. This isn't something that's post Donald Trump. Donald Trump gave me hope. Donald Trump gave me hope. Because since 2002, when I first had my eyes opened up to what's going on by a couple of very good friends of mine, still close personal friends of mine to this day, that I share a very special bond with. One of them's in this comment thread. I had my entire life changed. My entire outlook and worldview changed. And it all happened because I told you guys I was going to touch on everything today. I did say it, so we're touching on everything, but the focus is America. But on September 11th, 2001, a very, very heinous and world-changing event took place when footage of what appeared to be two Boeing 757 commercial airliners were flown into the World Trade Tower Building 7. I'm sorry, World Trade Tower. I don't remember the numbers of two big buildings, but the two largest World Trade Center buildings, maybe 3 and 4, I'm not sure, fell. Maybe 1 and 2, I'm not sure. But they were hit by planes and they fell. But what also fell was Building 7. Now, what's World Trade Center Building 7, you ask? I remember the plane that hit the Pentagon. I remember the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, but I don't remember a third plane hitting a Building 7. As a matter of fact, I might not have ever heard of Building 7. Remember when I talked earlier about the media and what they choose to tell you and what they choose to ignore? Building 7 was another building that came down in a free fall demolition manner, the same way that the first two World Trade Centers came down, which is basically from the bottom up. It came down and went and did a free fall, okay? And Building 7 did not get hit by a plane. We were told in the official 9/11 report that Building 7 had fallen down due to fires started from the debris from the two other towers. So wait a minute. You're now telling me that structurally sound buildings in the middle of New York City came crashing down in a full-on demolition due to fires from a completely adjacent building? But I thought I've seen buildings that are all burnt. And you see them, the entire side of the building is wiped out. You can see the floors, you can see the empty floors, you can see the destruction. Everything looks brown. Those buildings didn't fall down. How come these buildings fell down? It's a funny story when you ask that question, because when you ask why, and you keep asking why about 9/11, you come to a conclusion that I don't know for a fact what happened. It may have been planes that were hijacked by terrorists. Who those terrorists worked for, I don't know. It may have been missiles filled with jet fuel that were remote controlled and painted to look like Boeing 757s. What's up, my man Ryan Pitts? But one thing that it was not is the official story. And the bottom line is, if you're going to give me an official story and one piece of that official story doesn't make sense, then your entire official story needs to be questioned. Okay? Remember that. And, you know, the thing that got me, that woke me up so hard that I kept arguing with my friends, I would say, but what do you mean? Look on TV. Obviously it didn't happen. Why aren't they saying this? If you're telling me this, how come everyone isn't saying this? How come it's not everywhere? How come more people don't understand this? How come the people on the news, I'm sure they've heard this, how come they're not acknowledging that it's true? And the bottom line is, they're the problem, man. They're in on this. They're working with the people who caused it. Let me ask you a question. If the guy who owns Google got arrested today for raping animals and raping children, caught beyond a shadow of a doubt, don't you think if he had the power, no, not caught beyond a shadow of a doubt, even better, raping children, murdering children, even raping animals, I'll throw that in there because nobody likes bestiality, okay? Bestiality too. Was accused of these things, and there was evidence, and he wasn't arrested, and he wasn't going to go to trial. Don't you think that if he had the ability to take those articles and to take that information and make it not accessible through his website that he owns, don't you think he would choose to do that? Let's go to a scale that's more relatable, okay? Have you ever worked for a company that's had a website about your own company that you work for? Are there stories on your own website that paint your company in a negative light? No, of course not. Why would you do that? You don't want to paint your company in a negative light. You want to enhance the image of your country, okay? I'm sorry, of your company. You want to push the narrative that your company is a great company to increase business and increase profits. It's the same thing with our media, man. Project Mockingbird, Operation Mockingbird, whatever you want to call it. Look it up, man. The CIA and those three-letter organizations are deeply rooted within all of our media. They're manipulating you. They're teaching you that this is bad, okay? They're teaching you that this is bad. They're teaching you that I pledge allegiance to the flag. I'm sorry. I'm going to start that again. Okay? And if you want to say it at home with me and you love this country, then please, by all means, join me in this, because this is a lost art and I haven't done it in a long time. I'm damn sure if you grew up in public schools, pre-20 years ago, you've said this once or twice and I'm sure you know it. Put your right hand on your heart and say it along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that brings me to my last point. Justice. Why this country is amazing. And then after that, I'm going to free flow. If you guys want to contribute, talk about some different topics, I'm going to do that. But I want to cover justice, because that's the beauty of this country, is law and order are not here to hurt you. Law and order are here to protect you. And when I say you, I mean you, the law-abiding average American citizen. You know who justice is not here to protect? Criminals. But it does exist to give you a fair chance. That's why we are innocent till proven guilty. That's why the phrase, everybody has their day in court, exists. Because it is the absolute truth. And see, that's the beauty. Because there is a narrative now that is the absolute most disgusting narrative that I've ever heard, and is the single reason that I am here talking to you today. It is the single reason that caused me to stop posting about it, stop reading about it, stop writing about it, and start talking about it, and start doing something about it. And if you know what I'm getting at, type the 3 words in the box. Because they're 3 words that you hear everywhere, and they are, listen, they are the 3 most ridiculous words that you can say alongside of one another. Okay? Absolutely laughable. Absolutely laughable. Do you know what those 3 words are? Defund the police. What kind of fucking sociopath thinks it's okay to remove the police from places in America? Listen, man, you know, I heard somebody say it the other day, and he said a great line. He said, hey, man, there were 17 people shot in Chicago last week. Not one of those people were killed because there's too many police. Wake up, man. Ask why. Why are they taking away the police, man? To create chaos. Because from chaos, you can tear down what this country represents and rebuild a communist country in its image. Communist country goes against these American values we talked about today. A communist country goes against anyone can be successful. The American dream, equality, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, law, order, and justice. All of these things are counter to communism. And removing the police is one of the first steps. Explain to me how removing the police from American neighborhoods is going to make anyone safer. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. It will enable criminals to act without opposition. Pedophiles will be free to lure your children in online. Lure them in and fuck your children. That's right, I'm being offensive. Pedophiles are going to want to fuck your children without police. Does that wake you up, people? Does that wake you up? Okay? I watched a video of a man choking out a 70-year-old woman and robbing her, wearing a mask. Okay? Because wearing a mask, I'm going to say. Okay? We'll save COVID for another opportunity. But as of now, just so you know, I wear a mask in public when it's legally mandated to. And if I'm around people in a setting where they asked me to wear a mask or I felt they'd be more comfortable if I wore a mask, I would. Other than that, fuck a mask, man. Fuck a mask. And if we find out what the WHO said a few days ago was true, which is that asymptomatic spread is something that does not happen, we have no need for masks. We have no need for social distancing. The only rule is stay the fuck home if you're sick. The masks were designed for chaos. But we'll get into that. I'm going to leave that as a teaser for a topic for another day. Tomorrow, we're going to call it Wild Card Wednesday. If this video gets more views than yesterday, which is around 450, I'm going to do another video. That's why I'm going to ask you one more time to share this video right now. We're about to get a little off topic. We're about to be able to have some free-flowing conversation. I'm going to tell you to join in, and I'm going to tell you to send those questions, to tell me what you want to talk about. I'm going to address all of the things that's being written, like Ryan Pitts talking about the building imploding somehow, of course. It was imploded because the day before, a bunch of people ran through it and planted bombs in the elevator shafts. There's actually videos of them filming from inside the building and filming from a helicopter. But you can look those videos up yourself because I don't have the technology to put them here in this feed right now. But share this video. Let's get more. Tomorrow's going to be Wild Card Wednesday. a.k.a. Dealer's Choice, which is going to be whatever the fuck I want to talk about, but I want to talk about what you want to hear about, okay? False flags. In Bohemian Grove, there's a great example. See, Jay Richter knows. Jay Rick right there is a perfect example because he met me almost 20 years ago, and that's all I did is talk to him about this stuff. I don't want to mention how it happened, but Freemasons were brought up between me and Jay, and let's just say Jay Richter had a different set of information on Freemasons than I did, but I shared a whole lot of information with him about what's going on in this world. And that's one thing that Jay Richter respects about me, because he knows my views and opinions have not changed since the day he's met me, which was almost 20 years ago. And I was thinking and saying these exact same things 20 years ago. 18 years ago, to be exact. Let's be honest. The liberals love semantics. I do myself on occasion, especially when they're grossly off. So I'll say 18 years ago. It was 2017, 2003. At some point is when I had the conversation that snapped me out of it and woke me up. So 17 years ago, which also happens to be my favorite number. Whoop, whoop. But Bohemian Grove is a great topic. But I want to just enclose on the last thing that I was talking about, which actually, if someone wants to remind me, you old bastard, ain't that the truth? But I know I was speaking about America, freedom, opportunity. That's what it was. Opportunity, and then justice. And why that's so important is defunding the police being ridiculous. Not only is defunding the police being ridiculous, but it's about holding those responsible for the corruption in our country responsible, okay? It's about holding those who are responsible for placing evils within this country, and it's absolutely absurd. And we need to hold them accountable. We need to see these people brought to justice. We need to see them punished to the fullest extent of the law. I'm not going to say what I think the appropriate punishments would be for those people, because Facebook and other social media platforms like to silence conservatives and censor conservatives under the guise of inciting violence by saying things that should happen to these who should be punished of crimes like treason against America. Okay? Treason, people. We're talking about fucking treason. We're talking about fucking treason. Nobody thinks treason's okay. Because it's not okay. Wake up. Think for yourself, man. Think for yourself. Don't be spoon-fed, man. I know every single one of you likes a home-cooked meal more than you like a TV dinner. You know why? Because you see what goes into it. When you buy a TV dinner, you have no idea what you're eating. You don't know where it came from or how it was treated. All you know is that it's hot, it's in front of you, and maybe it smells good. Might be rubbery, but I think it's edible. But you know when you make a homemade meal and you have all the delicious fixins, the gravy, whatever else it may be, you have everything that you needed. Now, let's go back and address some comments. So, looks like what we have here. Yes, talking about me drinking. Jamie drank. Miss you, Jamie. Kenny Costa. We all miss Jamie. She is leaving to go get her nails done shortly, and I wish her the best of luck and a great time. She absolutely loves to do that. We used to get wasted in your car, and I'd rap about Father Dan and Michael Jackson. He absolutely would. And it was just nonsense. It was so funny. He'd have me laugh so hard I'd piss myself. Ryan Pitts, hello, my boy. Building imploded somehow. Nailed it. Absolutely right. Jay Richter, we should do a video about false flags and the Bohemian Grove. I could and I want to do that. I'll talk a little bit about Bohemian Grove right now. When it comes to false flags, I would want to have research. I would want to have documentation. I would want to have pictures. I would want to have links. I don't just want to tell you about things and tell you to take my word for it and then go search Google, which is censored. I would want to go ahead and actually provide you with some information and give you a head start on what to look for. Because I can tell you to research, but if you don't understand what you're looking for, that's the problem. People are so confused, they don't even know where to look for the truth. They don't know what to type in. How do you search in DuckDuckGo and say, what the fuck's going on in this world? You can't say that. You can't say that. It's more than that. But Bohemian Grove is interesting. So, I watched a documentary this morning. For the first time, a lot of you might have watched it. took me about 4.5 hours with all my interruptions to watch a 2 hour and 40-minute documentary. It is called Fall of the Cabal. It is extremely interesting. I posted it on my Facebook page. Go down a couple links. You'll see that I posted it. I highly recommend everybody watch it. Make sure you have nothing left to do for the night, though, because if you're a new person who still has a lot of questions and doesn't know where to look, watching that movie will give you more than enough to do research on, okay? Fall of the Cabal. I highly recommend it. And after you watch that, one of the things that it was talking about at the end is Moloch. And I wanted to give my experience with Moloch because, like I said, I've been knowing about this shit for going on 20 years. Being quote-unquote woke to this shit like Pizzagate and all this other, this is not new to me, okay? I've been listening to Alex Jones since he was only on the radio, okay? Back in about 2003 or 2004, I went with a friend of mine named Steven to a small theater in Providence. I believe it's that theater that's near the Alliance Security Building in Providence where they do, no, not PPAC. I'm thinking of a different theater. But they run movies and stuff. They do the Rocky Horror Picture Show and shit all the time. Well, they were showing, there was a guy named Jack Blood who used to be on a local AM radio station who used to talk about a lot of this stuff that I'm talking to you about right now, the corruption that lies within the government. And these open borders, you hear a lot about open borders. Man, when I showed up there that day, we showed up for a feature presentation of a documentary made by Alex Jones called Inside Bohemian Grove. It should be available for free on YouTube. If not, it's on Bill Clinton is a Rapist, Infowars.com. But if you go and you search for this video, what you're going to find with Alex Jones is that he breaks into and sneaks into, really, a ceremony, I guess it's called. It is, it's not a ceremony isn't even the word. It's like a retreat. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a retreat. And the people who are invited to this are rich and powerful politicians. This is something that when he did it back in 02, 03, whenever it was, however early it was in the 2000s, whenever he did this, it was already public knowledge that this happened. And there were articles in Time Magazine and whatnot where they talked about this. But they didn't talk about what happened inside. They acted like it was just a boys' club and they'd go there and play some tag and do some camping with their children. Good old-fashioned fun. It's not true, man. Because Alex Jones broke in with a camera. And you know what he saw? Shocking. Literally a mock seance. It's not a mock. It was a fucking seance. It's a seance. At which point, at the end of the seance, they appear to sacrifice a small child, a baby, to a gigantic wooden owl in the woods. This is real. You can watch this today with your own eyes in 2020 on the internet, Inside Bohemian Grove. Look it up, okay? I've known about this shit for over 15 years, okay? So you need to understand that this is not a new thing. The corruption did not start with Trump, and it's not going to end when Trump leaves. There are always going to be bad people who are looking for power, okay? Trump is here. All right, so ready? So we've already established that going back to 2001 when 9/11 happened, all of these people in the government who killed American citizens are evil. These people in the media who lied for them and aided and abetted them are evil, okay? Years later, these same politicians attend Bohemian Grove. We have footage from inside. They are sacrificing children. This is in 2005, 2004, people. This is not new. If you have been around the loop, you know about this. But 15 years ago when I talked about it, you know what happened? Oh my God, you're fucking crazy, dude. You're insane, bro. You're crazy. How dare you talk about this? What's wrong with you? Wake up and come back to reality. I've been living in reality for too long, man. Made me very upset. I'm going to go back and address some of these comments. because out of the corner of my eye, I'm seeing something that I definitely don't like. So, scrolling down, okay, Bohemian Grove. We're going to finish talking about that unless there's a better, but actually, no, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Go do your own research, okay? Go do your own research. Google Moloch, okay? I wish I had a dollar bill. If you ever look on the dollar bill, if anyone's ever showed you the little owl on the back of the dollar bill, when you turn the bill over and you're looking at the back, in the upper right-hand corner, okay, of the dollar bill, while you're looking at the back, there is a little tiny owl on the corner of the border of the one. It's Moloch, people! It's the same owl they're sacrificing children to. This shit goes back hundreds of years. This is not new. Wake up! We have more evidence now than we've ever had, people. And guess what? All of the bad people, guess who they all hate? Trump! Why do they hate him? Ask yourself this question. Why do the evil media and the evil politicians hate Trump? They say he's evil. Wait a minute. Evil people said someone's evil. Well, he must be good. Because that's how that works. When you stand on the side of evil and anyone that opposes you is claimed to be evil, those are the heroes, man. Those are the heroes. You got to ask yourself this question. His actions speak for themselves, man. We're gonna have an episode on Trump, and I'm gonna talk about Trump, and we're gonna get deep into him. But I want to address a few more comments. Kenny Costa, you old bastard. Haha. I am an old bastard, though. That's a fact. I'm 37 years old. I've been doing this for a long time. Unlike some people who might be in this chat, I was alive and old enough to remember when 9/11 happened. I was pulled out of class in school and brought into a classroom with a large group of people to watch these events unfold live on television. I believe we even got sent home early. It was that serious. Image 2524. Rob Giarusso, direct message me that image. I will take it on my phone and I will show it on the camera. It's not showing up. Fuck treason, Talia Girardi. Ain't that the fucking truth? Fuck fucking treason, bro. Fuck treason. Fuck the idea of treason. And you know what else is treason? Poisoning people that this country is evil. You know what's treason? Acting in a way that is anti-American. It's not necessarily treason. That's not high treason. But it's certainly anti-American. And being anti-American shouldn't be illegal, but the people who are brainwashing people to be anti-American need to be brought to justice. And the system needs to be fixed. And we're in the process of doing that. The swamp is getting real low and it's drying up. That's why the best the left has to offer in 2020 is Joe Biden. Smells like children. Joe would love it. Let's go back. Or a healthy breakfast from McDonald's. As far as what that's referencing, fuck treason or a healthy breakfast from McDonald's, I like it. The Vet Brian is the place, I think. Okay. You might have to reiterate on that one. R.I.P. Cappy. I'm not so sure who Cappy is, but if Cappy is someone. Tim Hopkins, Jamie Dorenzo, where have you been for the week? Probably looking to speak to you in any other place in the comments other than the comments of this live video. Tremendously off topic, but it is what it is. You have been warned. Anyone know where Tom Hanks is asking for a friend? Let's talk about that for one split second. Tom Hanks, sober. No, I'm going to talk about it for more than a split second. A few weeks ago, Saturday Night Live was hosted by Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, from his house via satellite, hosted Saturday Night Live. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Tom Hanks has the record for hosting Saturday Night Live the most amount of times. If it's not Tom Hanks, it's Tom Hanks. It's Tom Hanks. It is. Might be Steve Martin, but I don't think it is. I genuinely believe it's Tom Hanks. And he's done that the most. And you know why? Because he's heavily rooted in the establishment. He is the master manipulator of media. Okay? He is the epitome of Hollywood elite. Okay? And Tom Hanks hosted Saturday Night Live. There are people, and there is a video that I watched, basically showcasing how it's not real. and that a lot of what happened was photoshopped and tricks were used and deep fakes and different things to basically falsify Tom Hanks's presence in the episode. And is it real? I don't know, but it's certainly worth a look. It's certainly worth thinking about. It's definitely a question I'd ask. Why are people wondering where he is? Why don't people know where he is? Why do they want me to think he's okay? Why don't they want me to question his disappearance? Why? Ask why. Don't stop till you get your answer. Keep on asking why. Ask why too, and yeah, but why? Yeah, but why? Yeah, but why? Yeah, but why? Until you can't ask why, ask why. And you know what the answer is going to lead to? Because someone is lying to you. Because you are being manipulated. That's why. Let's see what else is here. The poster boy of pedo, more like it. Absolutely else. He was all over the news when he first got COVID and not a peep afterwards. Alec Baldwin, Robert Giarrusso says. Everybody's favorite Donald Trump impersonator. I'm going to teach you a secret about Alec Baldwin and the reason that he is a part of Saturday Night Live, okay? This has to go with yesterday's video, propaganda, conditioning, using the media to influence people. So going back to yesterday and going back to when I talked about CNN and late night television shows and trying to convince people of things, convince people that things are true when they're not by using humor, he's a perfect example. He does an impersonation of Donald Trump, but he acts in such a way of a racist buffoon who is constantly stumbling over himself and has malicious intentions and intends to hurt people. And he acts as this character version of Donald Trump, and you laugh. And when you laugh, you tend to accept information as reality, okay? You would tend to accept information and not question it, okay? It's the art of manipulation through laughter, okay? It's a thing that people do, and it's something that's not right. Every single thing that Alec Baldwin insinuates about Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live is based in something that is not reality. It's based in a myth that has been debunked. I know this because I have done the research and I individually debunk each thing that comes out about Donald Trump. People say, you don't do the research two ways. This is what I brought this out for, and this is what I want to explain to you, okay? I'm bringing this back out again, okay? People say to me online, they say, you don't do the research both ways. You look to prove your point correct. No, I don't. That's wrong. That's incorrect. And here's why. Because see this media news? Everybody gets this, people. You can't debunk something unless you know what you're debunking in the first place. I can't Google Donald Trump is not racist and listen to someone tell me about why Donald Trump is not racist. You have to assume that he's not racist. And when someone claims he is racist, you say, okay, this person claims Donald Trump is racist because of this reason. And then I look and I say, well, that's funny because I watched that speech yesterday and I remember when he said that and it had nothing to do with racism at all. But let's look at the clip that they provided anyway and let's see what they're talking about. And then you see the clip and it's usually a very short thing with no context and it's something said and then they claim what he's talking about is about something other than what he's actually talking about. Like, for instance, they're animals. Donald Trump refers to immigrants as animals. That is incorrect, people. He referred to MS-13 gang members as animals. This has been debunked. You don't need to look in the deep web for this information, people. You don't need to look in some sort of crazy textbook or channel information from outer space aliens to debunk this. You need to listen to Donald Trump speak in a fashion that is unedited. You need to watch the full unedited speech when the president speaks. I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to try this for yourself. The next time Donald Trump has a speech, okay, I want you to watch the full speech, and I want you to go on YouTube, and I want you to find a place like Right Side Broadcasting, which broadcasts his entire speech from the moment he comes out to the moment he leaves the stage, one continuous shot. No pauses, no mutes, no breaks. And I want you to watch the speech for yourself. And then I want you to take a look, and I want you to ask yourself, honestly, how you felt about his speech, how it made you feel, what are the things that he talked about. And then immediately when you're done, open up your news feed and look at what the mainstream media organizations are saying about his speech. If there's one thing that can completely wake someone up out of a dead sleep as far as an ideological subversion goes, that's it, man. That's the one. That's the home run. Okay? Now let's go back. Oh, Alec Baldwin, the most times on SNL. Yes, you're right. I was thinking he was the person I was going to say. I knew it's those two are the top two. But yes, Alec Baldwin, Tom Hanks, it must be right behind him, very close. SNL is owned by the elites, much like 90% of Hollywood, a.k.a. Pedowood. Absolutely. But, like Kermit the Frog would say, that's none of my business. It actually is all of our fucking business. Because we live in this fucking country, and those people could be your children. Wake up. Wake up. Okay? Hey, let me ask you a question. I got something for you. You ready for this? Look at every single organization that's out there that is an organization for saving children, finding kidnapped children, stopping human trafficking. Where are the kids, man? Where are the names? And obviously, I know you can't provide names for children that were victims of sex trafficking due to protection laws on children and their identities. But man, I sure don't see the children. They don't ever turn up. They don't ever become adults and say, thank God for this organization for finding me and rescuing me. They don't exist. Find me adult children who were kidnapped and rescued by Amber Alerts. They're not found, man. You know why? Look at the people on the boards of these organizations. You know what you're going to find on occasion, and honestly more often than on occasion? Convicted sex offenders, convicted human traffickers, convicted smugglers, criminals. Which is why law, order, justice, and the American way go hand in hand. People need to be accountable for their crimes. People need to be held accountable on all aspects of life. Crime needs to be held accountable. I could talk about this all day. Give me something you want to talk about, people. Give me something you want to talk about. I'm going to take a brief 30-second intermission. I don't smoke pot when I do these videos. I don't get stoned when I do these videos because I like to be 100% of sound mind, and I like to be ready and I like to be sharp, but I do love my nicotine. So I'm going to take one of my, which another thing, again, I don't get paid. I'm not a sponsor, but my Zyn tobacco-free, non-carcinogenic nicotine pouches. The only thing that's in these pouches are nicotine salts and the ingredients in gum. Okay? Completely safe. The statues these sickos own. Oh, man. You want to talk about the statues in John Podesta's house? You want to talk about the statues? You know what? I wish I could. I wish I had a valid way to share my screen on this. I got to find out a different way to do this, man. I got to find out. For tomorrow, when we do the Wild West, I'm going to see if I can use Streamlabs to run this stream. And if I can use Streamlabs to run this stream, then I can put anything on the screen. So I'm going to make this promise to you. By tomorrow, we're going to have a much better presentation for Wildcard Wednesday, a.k.a. Dealer's Choice. But you need to see some of these statues, man. You got to Google some of those on your own. This one in Tony Podesta's house, okay? The statue is. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Jeffrey Dahmer had making it moist to activate it. Jeffrey Dahmer had some sort of issue where he would take people that he killed and he would bend them like The Ring, like walking backwards like Bray Wyatt does, okay? And he would bend them, and Tony Podesta has a statue of basically a Jeffrey Dahmer murder victim in his home, let alone the paintings of young boys with no pants on and no shirts on, just in underwear in the shower, wearing red shoes. I mean, this is sick shit, man. Right behind Tony Podesta in People magazine is a picture on the wall of two people eating a person. You could see the guy on the ground, laying on a table, two people hovering over him, and the doctor behind him has a plate with a fork and a spoon in it, and they're leaning over his body like they're getting ready to eat his organs. This is in broad daylight. It's called hiding in plain sight. Wake up, people. Ask questions. There is no such thing as that's impossible. If you can't tell me why it's impossible, it's not impossible. Evil exists. What's next? Little sad Bill Murray made Epstein's list. You know, that's sad because Bill Murray used to do cool things, like just randomly show up to people's houses and join their parties and stuff. But who knows? Maybe he had ulterior motives. If Bill Murray's on the list, that's unfortunate, but he's on the list. And, you know, we'll see when the tapes come out. We'll see if they have tapes of Bill Murray, you know, raping, molesting, eating, killing, doing all these different things. We'll find out. Eminem too, but only time will tell. Ryan Pitts and Eminem. Oh my God. You know, Ryan, I want you to answer in here if I have permission to put the story that we were talking about yesterday of you on blast, of the first time me and you spoke about Trump, and maybe if I could tell a few other stories in between until today. But I will say this. Eminem, when he wrote that song about Trump, and also to Snoop Dogg, I mean, you know, if you can't see that these people are pushing an agenda, man, you don't get it. You don't get it. You know, Eminem, of all people, Ryan Pitts said, go ahead. I was stalling. We know Ryan Pitts, the very first time we talked about Donald Trump, his response was exactly this. You know what, man? Fuck that dude. I'm not talking about that dude. I don't give a fuck what you say. You ain't gonna get me to like that guy. He's a piece of shit. I hate the way he talks. He's fucking bullshit, bro. He's a piece of shit. I hate that guy. He's a scumbag. I don't even want to talk about him. Let's not talk about it because it pisses me off. That's what he used to say. I don't want to talk about it. I love how he says free content, but I also respect you, my friend. Privacy between friends is one thing. A word between friends is another thing. And, you know, I keep my personal morals and values strong. I can't wait. Tomorrow I'm going to touch on morals and values and a whole bunch of shit on Dealer's Choice. We might go for 3 hours tomorrow, just so you know. And by the way, if I'm rambling, feel free to tell me to stop. I'm waiting for anyone to tell me to stop in the comments. If you want me to keep going because you love it, tell me to keep going. Jamie's going to get her nails done. She's on her way there right now. She's probably in the chair right now, so I ain't got nothing but air and opportunity to talk to y'all. If you want me to keep talking, feel free to tell me you're still interested. But let me tell the story about Ryan. Absolutely hated Donald Trump, right? But see, they made a mistake with Ryan. They left Ryan alone at night with me every night. And I'm not someone who just talks out of my ass, man. I've done the research. You know, when I tell you that it took, I'm not going to say it took a whole lot to get me to support Trump, but it took the perfect storm. And once I had all the elements of the perfect storm, I knew that I was a Trump guy. Thank you, Bobby. Bobby Giarusso, my man. My man. Look at you. This is for you, Bobby. Growing that hair long, just like we used to have back in the day when I first met you. Those beautiful Italian locks and that leather jacket. I'm rocking it for us for the old school times. Let's get the probe and smoke cigarettes. But, no, so that's a joke only he's going to get. But, So I told Ryan, I would talk to him, and we would talk at night, and, slowly but surely, what would happen in the office, and this is something that he actually told me, what would happen is every single time I brought up Donald Trump, you know what I would say? I would say facts. I would talk about what he did, and I would back up what I said with actual evidence, proof, legislation that he passed. You know what I mean? Legal documents signed by the president that were signed into law to say this really happened. The news media came out and said, Donald Trump never condemned white racism and never condemned the Ku Klux Klan. Within 30 seconds, I pulled up a video of Donald Trump being like, I want to say I condemn the Ku Klux Klan, I condemn white racism, I condemn white supremacy, or whatever the fuck the words they used were. He did it immediately. And then I showed him the time that video was made, and then I showed him the time that the news article was posted, which was after he condemned it. And then they ran a story saying he didn't condemn it. And this is just one example, okay? But I made multiple. And then what happened? So I had already kind of gotten through to him, and he had never said to me, I'm a Trump guy. I'm going to vote Trump, Donald Trump. Let's go. Make America great again, USA. He didn't come off at that point to me. But what did happen at that point was Eminem dropped that god-awful, embarrassing piece of shit rap that he did in the garage or whatever, where he was like, fuck Trump, and all this other stuff, and he's doing, I don't even remember what the fucking words were. But all I know is that we watched that video, and at this point, he was starting to understand that Trump is anti-establishment. The establishment of the evil ones, folks. The establishment of the pedophiles. The establishment of the ones lying to you. The establishment of the ones that did 9/11, not Donald Trump. And he started to realize this. And he saw Eminem do that, and he said, bro. And Eminem was his hero. Eminem, we would tell me, is my favorite rapper. That's the guy that got me into hip-hop. Eminem's my hero. I love what he represents. And he did that, bro. And I watched a man whose soul was crushed. And he just sat there, and he was like, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, that was bullshit. If he wants to contribute to this, too, as well, feel free to add to that story. But I very specifically remember watching that video with you and looking at you, and you were just like, man, I don't even know what to say. Like, that's just so bad. And it's because here's a guy who used to be independent and think for himself. He was not part of the establishment. And then he took up the establishment role. He joined them. But you know what the difference with Trump is? Trump was part of the establishment, and he left. And he turned on them. MGK is the same thing. MGK is the same thing. Just to give you an example, I like the song, okay? I'm a fan of the song. All right, let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase, okay? For many years of my life, I absolutely loved Rage Against the Machine. Why? Because I felt like they were great music, first of all. I love the rock rap type deal. I love the rock music with those hip hop vibes. And even more so than that, what I love is, I just love Rage. I think they have a great sound. I think that Zach De La Rocha has excellent vocals. Tom Morello's phenomenal at guitar. I love Rage. I loved their message. But it wasn't until I got older that I said, wait a minute. Che Guevara, that's a communist dictator. Why are you praising him? Why is he the poster boy for freedom? I mean, that was the first Rage song I ever heard back in the late 90s, before some of you were born. Freedom, from the self-titled album. I still remember hearing it in my buddy Nino's basement. When it came on, when we would do our late night, go to sleep watching MTV, when they actually used to play music videos, and I would see Rage Against the Machine. And then now, fast forward to 2020, fast forward to the race war, okay, that the left is unsuccessfully trying to run. And I know it's unsuccessful because I'm here to stop it. I'm here to let everybody know that there is no race war. There's one war. It's Americans and freedom versus oppression, versus communism. Communism equals oppression. American capitalism equals freedom. Okay? No one is oppressed in capitalism. It is mental gymnastics to believe so. Okay? True capitalism, not crony capitalism, not fake pay the government for advantages capitalism. I'm talking about real, tried and true capitalism. No one is oppressed. Just like no one is oppressed in 2020 in America. There are definitely people globally that are very oppressed. Another reason why it's okay to love America. Now I'm going to be honest. I really want a can of soda. I'm about to drink old-ass soda. If you guys think it's cool for me to take a walk upstairs, take about 30 seconds to 1 minute away from this live video and go grab a soda, let me know. If it's not and you think that me leaving for a minute is going to kill the buzz of this video, then by all means, I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to continue to drink this warm, flat fucking soda from potentially last night or early this morning. Ugh. It's very flat. I needed some taste, though. I'll last. I don't need to go anywhere. But let's go back to MGK. When I heard MGK do this Killing in the Name of remix, I at first thought, cool. I love remixes. Here's a rapper doing a rock song. I'm into it. Well, I watched the video the first time, and needless to say, I was shocked. And all right, it looks to me like we have a split opinion right now of drinking old soda and going to get a new soda. So I'm going to, if it's unanimous here and I see an overwhelming support and a bunch of likes on go get a real soda, I'll go get a real soda. If not, I'll sit there and keep talking to y'all. Because like I said, I'm not here to make fucking money. I'm not doing this for me. I know this shit. This is how I think. I've been like this for 20 years. 17 years. Don't want to piss off the liberals with semantics. Been like this for 17 years. Okay? Long fucking time. Very depressed. I spent a lot of my life. Very depressed, feeling hopeless. Feeling hopeless like there was no chance in this world. Like politicians were selected, not elected. Okay? That's something you might have heard if you talked to me back in 2008, 2009. Who are you voting for? I ain't voting for anybody, man. That shit's all fake. What do you mean it's fake? It's all fake, man. You got two people who are working for the same guy. They're both going to take the same orders. They're both going to do the same things. They're just tricking you into believing that you have a choice. But then, my boy, my man, Donald John Trump decided to step up and become the United States president. And I didn't say run. I said become, because he is. And he's going to do it again in 2020 when we all, who's watching this, stand up for our country and stand up for what the people who have died, every single American soldier who has died for this country has died for these freedoms that we're protecting right now. Okay? Every single one of them. You must understand that. Whether it's fighting to free slaves or free oppressed countries, or whether it's fighting people who are threatening world safety, or whether it's fighting for our own freedom from England all those years ago. It's fighting for freedom. Okay? And what those people did when they first got free, the founding fathers sat in a room and they were like, okay, what the fuck are we going to do now? We just fucking killed England. They fucking ran away. They left us alone. What are we going to do? And they were like, well, we got to make sure this never happens again. And they're like, yes, 100%. Make sure this never happens again. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we got to make sure people stay free. We got to make sure that the government never gets more powerful than the people. Yes, exactly that. Yes, we got to make sure the government never gets more powerful than the people. So how do we do that? Okay. And that's how the Constitution was born. The Constitution was born out of necessity to create a government that works for the people. To create a government that is controlled by the people. To create a government that allows the people to govern themselves. Okay? And one of the reasons why this is such an important piece of this puzzle is because the Constitution is what they have been systematically attacking. Chipping away at it little by little by little. And every single time you make a law, that takes away a constitutional right, you're giving the government that much more control. You don't realize that oppression is more government, not less government, okay? And communism is total government control. Capitalism, aka laissez-faire capitalism, which means let it be in French, is hands-off capitalism, which is what we're supposed to have. That's been corrupted over time. Needs to be fixed. We need more patriots like Donald John Trump in the office, and we need to elect local politicians, and we need to concentrate on our congressmen. We need to concentrate on our senators. We need to concentrate on our representatives, because that's very important, because these people are all part of the puzzle. They get you so worked up on who's the president that people forget that it's just as important to vote locally and to pay attention to your local laws. Hey, just spoiler alert, a lot of you guys live in Rhode Island. You guys may live anywhere. Most of your problems are not caused by Trump. They're caused by your local government. You know why I know that? Because Trump is, being a Republican, believes in a small federal government and big state governments. Okay? And he doesn't overstep state governments unless he needs to. Case in point, look at CHOP. Like my boy Anthony Bryant Logan says, crack, heroin, opiates, pills. Or Chaz. Crack, heroin, opiate zone. Oh no, crack, heroin, amphetamine zone. Okay? They were allowed to take over 6 blocks in Seattle with no opposition. It's not because it's not Donald Trump's job to police Seattle. It's Donald Trump's job to deal with national issues. It's the local government's job to deal with that. People forget that. If you don't like the way coronavirus is being handled in your state, vote them out. That's your freedom. Exercise it while you still have it. Let's get back to comments. Clearly, the soda thing is still split. I'm going to go ahead and keep up on that because I really do want my soda. I would feel tremendously bad if I ended this stream and then sat here for an hour bored because I didn't go get a soda. But I'm not going to do it if it's going to lose people. I think Rami does have a point. But let me see if there's another way I can get a soda. Do I have an unopened can sitting here? I do not. I have no good soda here. I'm just going to continue to drink my cold water. But what you guys need to realize, you need to ask questions about everything. You need to research shit. I'm not a noob at this. This isn't day one for me. This isn't Brian's first rodeo as far as knowing that there's fucking seriously wrong shit going on in this world. This is not my first rodeo. Okay? Listen, you know what would make me hate Donald Trump? You know what one thing that would happen would make me hate Donald Trump so fast? And it actually happened the other day and it scared me. And I looked right at Jamie and I said, this is bad. Okay? Rami says I was kidding. Get a drink. I'm going to do that in 2 seconds. But I'm going to leave you with this. And it happened the other day. And go look it up, actually. This is something you all can do. You could take a break from the video. Don't shut it off. Just go open a new browser. Go ahead and take a look at this. When Donald Trump first put on a mask, okay, which happened the other day, all the news outlets said, Donald Trump takes a huge step. Donald Trump taking a step in the right direction. He's crossing a bridge, they said. That was the word. He's crossing a bridge. Terrified. Because when the media starts glorifying Donald Trump, I don't trust him anymore, man. I don't trust him. But I'm not saying I don't trust him now. All he did is wear a mask. All he did is wear a mask, and I don't know why. But I know the media is praising him, and again, I'm going to look into it. I haven't because I've been very involved with you guys. I've been doing different things, watching different things, looking at different avenues. But right now, the fact that my biggest problem and my biggest opposition with Donald Trump is that he wore a mask, and it's not because he wore the mask, it's because the media praised him. Look at how crazy this world is. Look at how crazy this world is. That's what I have to judge my president by how much the media hates him. Because as long as they're hating him, he's doing what I want him to do. He's doing why I elected him. As long as they are pushing back, I know they're pushing it back against what I want. Donald Trump is a nationalist, an admitted nationalist. You know what nationalism is? It's believing in the sovereignty of a nation and believing in the financial independence of that sovereign nation. Nationalism is the opposite of globalism. Okay? 17 years ago, when I first heard the word globalism, no one talked about globalism. It wasn't a thing you talked about, okay? Because it was a concept that nobody understood. But what globalism is a world without borders. Globalism is the unity of all countries. Here's why that's bad, people. What does this mean? What does this mean? Do you know what this means? This means too sweet, okay? What does this mean? For life. You know what those two things mean to me as a wrestling fan? They represent the New World Order, brother. Hollywood Hogan's New World Order, man. Ah. But in reality, the New World Order is a very scary concept, because what the New World Order actually is a world government. Now you're probably saying, well, globalism's not that bad. I mean, it means all people should be together, right? And it means, isn't that what everybody wants? Is one big happy utopia and everybody to be together? Man, when there's countries in this world where people are pushing gay people off of roofs, women don't have rights, child marriages are arranged to adults where adults can marry multiple children, I don't want those ideals in my country. I don't want those morals as part of my civilization. That's not right where I live. You know, New World Order. See, Jay Richter gets it. He knows. Too sweet, brother. Too sweet. The Hulk Hogan, too sweet. But it's true. Because globalism leads to a one world order. Because the concept of globalism is giving up our sovereign right as an America, as a country, as America. Corona. It's giving up our right to decide our own laws in our own ways, our own societies, okay? That's what globalism is. It's giving up our freedom as a sovereign nation to a third body, to an outside organization, okay? And within that outside organization, they will now make the laws. So, for instance, in this country, we have something that's very important. You guys have probably heard of it. It's called the Second Amendment of the Constitution. It states that we as Americans have the right to bear arms to protect ourselves against our neighbor and also against the potential rise of a tyrannical government. Why would we give up our guns to a tyrannical government when the reason we have guns is the first place is for a tyrannical government? I'm going to put you guys on a brief hold. I'm going to get my goddamn soda. Please bear with me. I promise you I'm going to make this entertaining when I get back. Fill the comment thread with everything that you want to hear me talk about, and we're going to talk more. Ask me questions. Provide news articles that you want to look at. Literally, I will address absolutely anything that is reasonable and that is something that is relating to this. Put it in the comments. I'll talk about it. I'm going to be right back. If I come back and there's no viewers, I'm going to be very sad, but I'm still going to talk. Less than 1 minute. Less than 1 minute I have been out of this room and away, and we still have just as many viewers, which isn't a lot, but hopefully the video gets shared. And now that I'm back is a great time to share this video if you haven't already. Share it on your Facebook page. Hopefully some of your friends and viewers will come in and learn something. All right? Now let me take this delicious sip of soda I've been waiting on. I'm out of breath because I ran. Doesn't say too much about my personal health. When I can talk for almost 2 hours without missing a breath, but a quick run up the stairs, and I'm huffing and puffing. So, not a good sign. But guess whose fault that is? Mine. You know why it's my fault? Because I'm accountable for my own actions. Every single decision I've ever made, the only person they've affected, or the person they've affected most, is me. I am the one who has to bear the cross, quote the Raven nevermore, for every single decision that I have ever made. Now let's go ahead and take a look and catch up on some comments here real quick. Okay, so MGK we were talking about before. I'm terrible. I was reading these, by the way. I just wasn't saying them out loud. Feel the same way when we watched Severed Ways. Oh, man, what a great story. If you want to watch the worst movie you've ever seen in your life, make sure you check out a movie called Severed Ways, The Norse Discovery of America. My good friend Ray Vacalis spent $27 of his hard-earned money, and we took a trip to Providence Place Mall to buy this on DVD because it was the only way we could find it. And when we watched it, I wasn't let down, but I wasn't the one who had wanted to watch this movie for 4 months. So, yeah, but that MGK, but that MGK Eminem disc was fire, LOL. I wouldn't agree with that, Tim. By the way, Tim, I'm glad to see you here. MGK is in Hollywood now, so you got to keep an eye on him these days. 100%. Of course you got to keep an eye on him. He's already out there putting anti-Trump propaganda. You know why? Because it's much easier to sell your soul and do what they want you to do for fame and success than stand up for what you believe in and not make $1. Because I'm not making any money here to do this. I'm here to educate people and to wake people up. Okay? Go get a soda. I did. Get a real soda. Drink old soda. Rage against the Brasheen over here. I don't know what that word means, but it's fucking great, and I like it. I'm going to look it up in a little bit. I was kidding. Get a drink. New World Order. You know it. Freemasons. Freemasons we can address in a second. Not in my backyard. Not now. Not ever. Abso-fucking-lutely right, Ryan. Protect this fucking country and protect our freedom and protect the sanctity that is the United States of fucking America, because they are coming for your very fucking freedoms. Freemasons you knew a lot about when we met, and due to circumstances, I had some inside knowledge. Curious to how much more you have learned. I miss chicken clubs. Oh, man, I miss buffalo chicken clubs. Rob Giarusso, I quit eating buffalo chicken, by the way, shortly before I quit drinking, because it was taking too strong of a toll on my body, and it was causing me to get sick. I no longer can eat buffalo chicken. That is so sad. But getting back to Freemasons and how much more I know, I'm actually going to tell you a quick story, and it involves Ray Vacalis here in the comments. So, as you guys might know, we're going to talk about Freemasons for a second, okay? This started out as America, but it turned into a little bit of dealer's choice, which I have no problems with. So, the Freemasons are a secret society, and I'm going to take off my headband for a second because I want you guys to see my beautiful head of hair here. Just for a second, I'm going to put it right back on. Look at this hair. So amazing. Freemasons are a secret society. If you are unaware of what a secret society is, to give you a base explanation of what a secret society is, the best way to explain it is a group of people who meet secretly and do not expose their agenda to the public. They have a private agenda, and they meet in secret, and nobody knows what their club is about. And the Freemasons are the most commonly known, secret society. They are commonly known because, I love it, flaunt it if you got it, absolutely. Fabio, Rob knows. But secret societies exist for many years. And just like JFK said, the very concept of secrecy is repugnant, and especially within government. And I knew a lot about Freemasons then because Freemasons basically rule the world. You name a president before Donald Trump, and they were a Freemason. Just about. I'm not. Don't quote me on every single one. If I miss one or two, then by all means. But in the corrupt era, outside of our founding fathers, in the corrupt era, we're going to say from maybe 1870, maybe even 1900 or so till today, that's the corrupt era, okay? The early days, the 1700s, early 1800s, we were just trying to be free, man. We were just trying to be free, okay? But when the era, another thing I want to talk about is television. Remind me to talk about television in a little bit, okay? But when it comes to Freemasons, you know, Freemasons are always people of power. And I've always been so interested in Freemasons. And they're always pop up, the buildings always pop up in the weirdest places. There's one in Greene, Rhode Island that I used to drive by on a regular basis when I used to go to what I would refer to with my friends as, put it in the comments if you know, but I'm going to say it, Vampire's Grave. I probably went there with more than one of you in this comment section right now. And there was a Freemason building on the way there that basically had a sign out front that said, we meet on Sunday on or before the full moon. And then all their windows are boarded up. Well, if it's not a weird, creepy thing, why do you meet by the moon? You know? But then, and this is where the crazy part of my story comes in. I happen to be watching Friday Night Fights on ESPN one random night many years ago, probably more than 10 years ago, and I saw a commercial, and I couldn't believe my eyes. It was a Freemason open house. I was shocked. It said, tomorrow is our Freemason open house. Show up to any Freemason lodge and walk inside, and all you have to do is inquire about becoming a Freemason. I was shocked. So what did I do? I called up my very close personal longtime friend, Ray Vacalis, and we took a ride to Greene, Rhode Island. And we got to walk inside of that building that I had driven by 250 times before. We got to walk inside of that building that I had banged on the boarded up windows, that I had read the sign, that I had turned down the side street of, that had a sign at the end of the road that said, wrong way, go away. And I got to knock on, and I got to go in that building. And we sat down, and I'm going to try to give you the story to the best of my ability. Ray Vacalis, if you're still watching and you want to add in any information that I might be forgetting, feel free to contribute because you were a part of this story. But we sat down, and I told him right at the beginning, we both knew what we were getting into. And we both knew this is a sketchy thing. Like, we're walking into the enemy's den right now. But I did this, and I sat down, and they showed us a video, and it was some propaganda video, and they're like, there are only 3 requirements to being a Freemason. You have to believe in a higher power, whatever God it is, if it's a Muslim God, if it's a Jewish God, if it's a Christian God, whatever God it is, you have to believe in a higher power. You have to have a good standing within the community, and you have to be willing to help others. Now, at the time, I didn't get it. Now I do. But we sat down, we watched this. Then they asked us to fill out a piece of paper. And they said, we want some information. And it asked us for our name and address. And I looked right at the guy and I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't feel comfortable giving you my name and address. He said, that's fine. Fill out whatever you'd like. So I did. I basically checked like one box off. And it was, are you interested in becoming a Freemason? And I said, no. I did not inquire about becoming a Freemason. But I inquired about what they do. And they gave me a full tour. And I saw the different rooms. I saw their foyer. They brought me upstairs to their meeting room. I saw that they explained to me that when they have a meeting and the chairs are set up, I saw the inside room and they have like, there's different degrees of Freemasons and there was pictures on the walls of Freemasons. And yeah, no real names or addresses. And there was pictures on the walls and chairs were elevated and they were like, that's where the highest ranking official sits. And then on the other wall across from them on the chair that's a little lower, that's where the next one sits. And then over there, and then amongst them, there were a bunch of chairs on ground level where the average people sat. And then outside of the room, they said that traditionally, there would be a man with a sword defending the door during a Freemason meeting. This is real life. This is real life that this happened. And in this room, it was a bunch of books with a bunch of knowledge. I did not get to pick up the books and go through the books, but they were there. Okay? And I have to stop and pause because Ray Vacalis just sent me a message, and this might be relevant to the story I'm telling, okay? This is not relevant to the story I'm telling whatsoever. I don't know why he just sent me that, okay? So, remember I told you about the God thing and how they didn't mind doing open houses because only the high-ranking Masons in certain lodges who are privy to the real knowledge. Yes, that's why I stopped caring. Because after I went there and I realized what they were doing, the Freemasons is just the beginning. They are just conditioning you and bringing you into the cabal at the lowest level. For instance, a Freemason is nothing more than a mafia goon, or maybe even just someone who is mafia affiliated. When we're talking about the cabal, which is the global elite that is secretly running the world, that has pulled the strings of every single politician outside of Donald Trump and a small handful of others for the past 50 to 100 years, that cabal is here, and then there's another bunch of groups here, like the Bilderberg group, like the Council on Foreign Relations, a whole bunch of others, and then you get down to the very bottom, and the low level are the Freemasons. You have to start as a Freemason, become a 33rd degree Mason, and then you can graduate to the group above, and then you get to enter a new secret society. Then when you graduate that one, you enter a new secret society. And it's just pretty wild, but basically what it has to do with is these people meet in secret and then get positions of power and then bring their Freemason friends up with them. So for instance, I'm in a secret society. I'm a Freemason. I start a business. From my business, I hire other Freemasons in my business to run it with me. So now my business can run the Freemason agenda. So when we have a meeting and the Freemasons say, hey, we need you to do this, well, I can do that because my business is full of Freemasons. That's how it works. It's basically corrupt networking, okay? Now, fast forward a little bit, and let's go back. Let's go back to a few other comments here because I kind of cut off once I heard Freemason. Chicken clubs, Fabio, my hair. George Bush was a Freemason. Yes, he was. Okay, sorry. So privy to the real knowledge. So that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's only the top Masons, the ones who are ready to graduate and go on to the next level. But one thing that I found very interesting while I was there that I want to add, they did mention that there was a Freemason handshake that one Mason will do to another Mason to let them know that they're a Mason and let them know what rank they are simply by a handshake. And then we were asking them, but you guys are a secret society. What is so secret? And they kept saying to us, there's literally like only 3 things that you can't say. Like 3 words or 3 things that you can't say. And they were downplaying the secrecy of the secret society. The entire time we were in there, it was very much downplaying the secrecy. Like, oh, don't get hung up on the secrecy. There's only like 3 things that you can't know. It's completely fine. We're completely normal. There's just 3 things. And if you join, you'd find out. All you have to do is ask us to join. And we did our full tour. And they're like, do you want to join? And we were like, no. But thank you for the tour. And we got in the car and we left. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I can't believe I just went in that building after all these fucking years. So that's my story of the time I went into the Freemason building in Green, Rhode Island. So I almost want to wrap. Do you guys want to see me wrap this up? Are we still going? Do we have anything good to talk about? Do you have any questions that you want to ask? Ask me about Trump. Ask me about what he's doing. Do you want to talk about child trafficking? And do you want to talk about how Trump has busted more pedophiles and more child pornography rings than any other president in history? Do you want to talk about how Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to run wild under the nose of the last 5 or 6 sitting presidents while they used his services? And it wasn't until Donald Trump was in office and he had hired the Department of Justice that Epstein was actually put in jail and died in jail and wasn't able to be saved. And you know why he died in jail? Pizzagate. Of course we want to talk about Pizzagate. Pizzagate I would like to have a lot more information on, but that's basically where I'm going with this. I'm going to tell you about Pizzagate from my perspective because it's a little bit different than most. Take one more sip of my delicious soda that I thank you all for allowing me to go get, by the way. I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate you sticking with me. And while I'm taking this sip of soda, I would appreciate it if you didn't share the video already, to share the video on your social media page right now. Share it in any way with anyone that you think might be interested in coming in and taking a listen. But my Pizzagate experience is different than most others because I was kind of involved in this shit coming out. And you're like, you were involved in Pizzagate. What the fuck are you talking about? Let me explain. So, I was, because this community still exists, but it's a bit different. Let me explain. At the time, in 2016, shortly before the presidential election, I was a member of a community on Reddit called The Donald. Now, The Donald was the only place on Reddit that you could go and openly support President Trump, or at that point, the Republican National Committee's nominee for president, Donald John Trump. Okay? And I was there, and everywhere else on Reddit was censored. Heavily censored at that, too. It wasn't just a little censored. I mean, if you posted something positive about Trump and it conflicted with the negative thing they were trying to send, they would remove your post. If you made a post, you would get spammed. Everyone would give you hate messages. You'd get downvoted, and you'd eventually get barred from the sub for whatever they wanted to censor you for. And this is the basic sub, like the politics sub. You weren't allowed to talk on the political sub if you spoke in favor of Donald John Trump, okay? This is a fact. So I became part of this community. And something amazing happened, if you remember, shortly before the 2016 election that changed everything. A man named Julian Assange and his website, WikiLeaks, released something that is known today as the Podesta emails. Now, John Podesta was the head campaign manager for Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election, okay? And when these emails came out, this is 30,000 emails, 33,000, I believe, to be exact, were released. This happened like less than 2 weeks before the election, okay? And when this happened, I mean, who the fuck can go through 33,000 emails in 2 weeks? How do you even know what you're looking for? I couldn't do it. If you handed me 33,000 unsorted emails, I'd have no idea where to start. But the Donald, they had a great idea. Hey, Kayla, how's it going? High five. They broke into teams. Anyone seen Hillary's emails? I saw Podesta's. I'm getting to that story. But as far as the ones on the server, we could talk about that in a second. And Maxwell. We'll talk about Gustine Maxwell because she feeds into all this Pizzagate shit. So what they did is they took teams, okay? And I wasn't part of these teams because, quite frankly, I'm not. You might think I'm autistic, but I'm not like these autistic people because this is. They referred to it as weaponized autism. It was fucking amazing. It was beautiful what these people were doing. But they broke into teams and they broke the emails down by numbers. And each team was given like 1,000 emails to go through. And then that team would divide the emails amongst their team. So instead of one person going through 33,000 emails or a group of, 40,000 people going through 40,000 emails, instead it was broken down into smaller groups, allowing people to maximize efficiency in going through these emails. And it started out with the word spirit cooking. Now, if you Google spirit cooking, you're going to get a whole bunch of nonsense. But if you go on DuckDuckGo and you search spirit cooking, especially spirit cooking Marina Abramovic, okay, you're going to get a lot more information. And what spirit cooking basically is a strange satanic ritual that these evil pedophile cannibals do that involves drinking blood, that involves semen, breast milk, cutting your left pinky finger to feel the pain and bleed. I mean, fucking weird shit, okay? Weird shit. And the bottom line is, I just got a message from someone who I actually do believe is watching. Oh, I see this now. I think he's telling me about Julian Assange. I'm actually going to reference this because I do believe he's watching, and he is just... All these people could be held up somewhere green screen until they make sure they're seen, until it's time. Have you seen Howie Mandel? No, I haven't seen Howie Mandel. That's a great point, actually. People think he's being held captive. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't put anything past anything. Nothing is impossible. Why? Because you can't tell me why anything is impossible. Remember that. You can't tell me why anything is impossible. Time travel? Is time travel impossible? No. You can't tell me why it's impossible. The only thing you can tell me is why you believe it hasn't been discovered yet. You can't tell me why it's impossible to do. Remember that. Nothing is impossible, okay? But anyways, back to Pizzagate, back to spirit cooking. So these came out. So there's pictures of John Podesta with a Band-Aid on his finger and a fish and a 13 written on his hand, which has deeper meaning that I don't remember right now because I'm going to be honest, it was 4 years ago from when I saw this, and it had something to do with a whole bunch of deeper stuff. I'm sure if you do your own research, you'll learn way more about it than I'm prepared to tell you right now because I haven't brushed up on it in 4 years. But then, in these same emails, and I remember seeing the link for the first time, guys, I think we got something here. I think they're using code words for human trafficking of children. And when I clicked on the link, I'm going to say this, my friend, if you are watching and don't want to contribute and you want me to share these things, there is a YouTube video that I will share post this about Howie Mandel potentially being captive. But when it comes to this email, they said, I think they're using code words for trafficking of children. And when I clicked on it, the email, I'll never forget it. It was some sort of email between someone to John Podesta or his brother. And it said, hey, you left a pizza-related map at my house. Would you like me to get it back to you? Or something like that. But it was a pizza-related map. And I stopped and said, that's strange. That's strange for a professional person to use wording like that. Why would you say a pizza-related map? What does that mean? And then next thing you know, within hours, people search the Podesta emails for pizza. And not fair, he's cutting the comment line. Okay, yeah, that's true. You're right. Not fair. New rule, no checking anybody else out. You want to post a comment, come right in here. I like it because I'm not paying attention to you guys. I'm paying attention to him. You're absolutely right. So I am paying attention to you guys, though. I'm just not stopping every time because ADHD is a motherfucker, and this video would be 6 hours, and it'd be very scattered, and no one would watch. But the point is, these pizza-related emails started coming up all over. And one of the emails and the search for pizza triggered a result from a pizza restaurant in Washington, D.C. called Comet Ping Pong Pizza. And a man was identified named James Alefantis, okay? And James Alefantis is a gay man who was dating another man by the name of, I want to say it's Calvin Brock, but it was David Brock. James Alefantis and David Brock. And David Brock is the CEO and owner of a company called Media Matters for America. And Media Matters for America is a propaganda outlet that spreads left-wing propaganda. They created a sub-company called Correct the Record, which was basically used to manipulate factual data to convince gullible people that reality was fiction and that fiction was reality. Because it was done so by a company called Correct the Record. Oh, I get it. You're correcting the record. Somebody lied. You're here to correct them. That sounds completely impartial, but it's not. And Media Matters for America, it's evil. Okay? So these two guys are tied to Clinton, are tied to Podesta through the emails. So then, when people see this, they're like, James Alefantis, Comet Ping Pong Pizza. They started searching for Comet Ping Pong Pizza. And there are loads of other emails that we're going to get to in a second if I keep talking about this that are, far crazier. I mean, people talking about bringing children 7, 9, and 11 as entertainment to go in a hot tub with grown adults. You can look this up for yourself. Emmy Lozado, okay? The Lozado girls. And WikiLeaks, Podesta emails, Lozado girls. If somebody wants to do a search on DuckDuckGo and add it into the comments so it's easily clickable for everyone listening and watching, that would be absolutely phenomenal. I'm not going to do it because it's going to be boring to watch me type out stuff because I can't use voice to text to find it, just being honest. But they went and researched this Comet Ping Pong Pizza owned and operated by James Alefantis, who was pointed out by name in this email saying, oh, we have pizza from James Alefantis and Comet Ping Pong Pizza coming to the party. These people in these emails really like pizza, but then they say weird things like, do you prefer walnut sauce on pizza or pasta? Do you prefer walnut sauce on pizza or pasta? Maybe I'm not a foodie. Maybe that makes complete sense to someone, but I still haven't found the person that can tell me that they put walnut sauce on pizza or pasta. So just wanted to state that out loud. But when they looked into James Alefantis, they went to his Instagram page. And this all happened within the span of one day. This email was discovered. People found his Instagram, and they started taking screenshots, and they started taking online backups. And if you look up Pizzagate, you see the famous picture of the little girl whose hands are taped to the table, and you see all the crazy imagery on the walls. I mean, this is a pizza place that opens at 6 p.m. and stays open till 2 a.m., and it's noted as a family establishment, okay? There is a group that plays there called Heavy Breathing, who, if you want to look up Heavy Breathing Band or Heavy Breathing official music video, I mean, there are crazy stuff you're going to find on the band Heavy Breathing, and the lead singer is in a mask, and he used to play at where? Comet Ping Pong Pizza. And they have him on video making comments from the stage talking about how he is sexually attracted to young children on stage at a performance at Comet Ping Pong Pizza. I have seen the video with my own eyes. It still exists. You should be able to find it, duckduckgo.com. But then it spiraled out of control, okay? Because all the emails came out, the food stuff. That's when the pedophile logos came out. And then we've all seen it by now, the FBI logos with the triangle that looks like this, and it's like a triangle that goes into like a spiral. There was another loose one that shows little boy lover. There's a butterfly with heart balloons. That's little girl lover. All kinds of sick shit. And then what they found is these pizza joints in Washington, D.C. had these pedophile symbols on them. So then it's like, whoa, there's a serious issue here. There is some human trafficking going on amongst these elite politicians, and they're using food terminology in their communications to talk about these. Like, for instance, under Barack Obama, it's Obama's having a party with $60,000 worth of hot dogs, and I believe we're using the same channels. What channels do you have to buy $60,000 worth of hot dogs? I don't know if you know this, but even if you had 2,000 people at a party at the White House, $60,000 worth of hot dogs is like 100,000 hot dogs. You don't need 100,000 hot dogs to feed 1,000 people. That's 100 hot dogs per person. Even if you buy gourmet hot dogs at $1 a piece and you pay for them to be made, you're still talking about 60,000 hot dogs for 1,000 people, maybe. And this is where Pizzagate came from. Now, the media, of course, now, fun fact, and this is something that a lot of people don't know, and I'm here to tell you because, again, I was involved in this. I remember when it happened. The term fake news was created to discredit Pizzagate. If you can look on Google Trends, and if someone wants to look it up, which I don't know if you guys are good at it, but if you want to look it up and do a Google Trends comparison of the word Pizzagate and then the words fake news, they both were created at the same time. So you'll see that it levels off and no one ever said the word Pizzagate. No one ever said the word fake news. And then all of a sudden, fake news and Pizzagate spike up on the same day. Okay? And that's because fake news was created to discredit Pizzagate the same way that conspiracy theory was created to discredit people who believed anything other than the official narrative of John F. Kennedy. Now, Donald Trump hijacked the word fake news, and he turned it on the media to basically call them fake news, and now everybody knows the media is fake news, but it's phenomenal because the way it was done was very tactful and was really ingenious how he did that, but it doesn't change the fact that immediately Pizzagate got branded fake news. And the reason why is because they focused on the most absurd parts of the story, because it started to be speculated that there was a kill cellar in the basement of the pizza restaurant, and he would do his murders there. And basically, he went on television with Megyn Kelly, who I fucking hate, by the way. She's a pretty girl, but I fucking hate her. And she asked him softball questions, didn't ask him any of the tough shit, and basically said, do you have a kill chamber? Do you have a cellar? And he's like, nope, we don't even have a cellar in the building. And she was like, case closed, Pizzagate's not real. And the very next day it was discredited conspiracy theory, Pizzagate proven to be fake news. So it's bullshit, man. Because the truth of Pizzagate is not that Pizzagate is pizza parlors in Washington, D.C. smuggling children and child trafficking. The truth of Pizzagate is there is a globally stretching human trafficking ring involving rich elite pedophiles from every country on the planet, world leaders from all around. I'm talking Muslim-run countries. I'm talking Christian-run countries. I'm talking Jewish-run countries. I'm talking every person in power that you could think of. And there might be an innocent country out there or two. There are probably some innocent, rich, and powerful people out there, but in general, this is an epidemic when it comes to the 1% or the ruling class of people, as we like to say, okay? So this is what was discovered by Pizzagate. Shortly after the term Pizzagate became banned everywhere, and if you go to search on Facebook, #Pizzagate, it says for safety reasons, you cannot do this. So then a new word was created, and that word is pedogate, Pedogate. And again, if you search #pedogate, you also are not able to get any results, and it says this community is blocked. So then that turned into recently a new word that someone pointed out to me, which is called frazzle drip, which I had not heard of before, which is also a banned search term that has to do with this globally linking human trafficking ring. And here's the best part. Trump is coming to cut the head off of this beast. And this is what they are so afraid of. In these emails, one of the things that Hillary Clinton says is if he gets elected, we are all going to hang. Because they are guilty of high treason in this country. I'm going to go take a few more comments now. I could talk about Pizzagate all day, but at the end of the day, I'd much rather do a better, well-produced video where I can show you images, and obviously not child pornography images, but disturbing images, and really try to paint a better picture than I'm able to do by just talking. But that's my experience as far as being involved in the center of the community, along with 4chan. Pizzagate was discovered and was coined and was explored by Reddit's The Donald community and 4chan poll community, their political board, which is 4chan /POL. Okay? So poll on 4chan and Reddit's The Donald community are the two communities that worked together to expose Pizzagate. I was part of one of them. All right, now, Pizzagate, Elaine Maxwell. We're going to get into Maxwell. She'll be my next thing that I go to with Epstein and Maxwell. Has anyone seen Hillary's emails? Y'all love talking about pedophiles, huh? Y'all want me out here talking about pedophiles all night. Has anyone seen Hillary's emails? I'm not quite sure. I don't think she has. She did use bleach bit to get rid of them. Another funny thing, there was someone who came on Reddit, on Ask Reddit, looking for help, being like, hey, my boss is a very famous person. I'm not going to reveal their name, but I've been charged with, trying to erase hard drives and make sure that no data can ever be recovered. And I'm looking for someone to help me. And it turns out that this person and their IP address and their name were linked to Hillary Clinton because this person had come onto Reddit looking for a way to destroy this evidence permanently from her private email server. High five, Kayla. We went over that. Not Fairy's cutting the comment line. That's done for now. My cousin went to the store yesterday, and there was a Toy Story sweater said Divided as the brand, and right next to that was a sweater from same Divide brand with a slice of pizza on it. you're going to see pizza everywhere, man. If you look for pizza stuff in Hollywood, I mean, some of these pedophiles wear pizza pins. You know, also look for people wearing red shoes. Red shoes is another symbol. It has to do with basically bloody destruction and just bloody massacre, and they wear red shoes to represent many years ago the people who were killing people whose shoes and whose feet would be red from covered in blood from walking over the bodies of their slain victims. Subversion. You know, that's a topic I'd like to get into too. I did that a little bit yesterday, but I want to save that for a larger conversation about ideals and whatnot. I might cover that more tomorrow. We'll tap on it a little bit today once I'm done with the comments, though, but I definitely want to talk about subversion. LOL. I want pizza and hot dogs. You don't want these fucking pizza and hot dogs, buddy. You don't want these pizza. You want regular pizza and regular hot dogs, and not the kind made with baby blood and, you know, children matter in the dough. Cappy was the guy Tom Hanks had killed when he was exposing elites. His last video, he posted him in some place with little girls in bra and underwear, like fetching water from a fountain. It was creepy. Also, Cappy was ran over on Route 61, and 1 year after his death, Hanks posted a dirt-covered glove and wrote Route 61. Now, that's fucked up. I got to look into that when we get off. He went to the kill site, so I'll definitely look into that a little bit more. I'll find out Cappy. We can talk more about him tomorrow. Pretty sure Corey Feldman has been trying to expose them for years now. 100%. He did a video and named his accuser, and his accuser was, not his accuser, he named his abuser, and that was Dragon Blood, Charlie Sheen. Fun fact, Charlie Sheen used to fuck a little boy, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, as little children. Rich-ass Charlie Sheen in his shades and in his cool leather jackets when he was that cool guy, and he used to fuck these little boys because he is the Hollywood elite, and this is what they do to these small children. Why do you think that all of the children that grow up in Hollywood are so fucked up? Wake up, people. Wake up. Why do you think the entire cast of Full House returned to do Fuller House except for the Olsen twins? Probably because they didn't want to face people like Bob Saget, who potentially raped them as not only children, but potentially babies. He went to the kill site. I heard they make shoes out of baby skin. They probably do. And the red ones might actually be made out of baby skin, but what they represent, which I saw today in that great documentary called Fall of the Cabal, which I highly advise everyone to take a look at. It's very informative, great stuff in it. If you don't believe it, research it for yourself. But again, you don't know what to research. Listen, if I said do your research and you didn't know that there was a global pedophile ring where rich people kidnap people using Amber Alert groups and using child rescue groups as cover to send small children all around the world and sell them to rich and powerful people, you'd never think to look it up. You wouldn't even know what the word adrenochrome is. You know what adrenochrome? Adrenochrome is something that in your body, when you become extremely scared and you're frightened for your life, your body begins to produce adrenochrome, okay? Adrenochrome is the most sought-after drug on planet Earth. It is the drug of the elites, okay? Elites drink adrenochrome. It gives them a rush, and the only way to harvest adrenochrome is by killing a tortured human, most likely a child. I'm going to repeat this again. The most sought-after drug on planet Earth is called adrenochrome, and the only way to get it is to harvest it by a young child's murder. My glare is coming from my goddamn computer screen. Son of a bitch. If I sit like this, it's less glary. But, this world is so fucking evil, man. This world is so evil. I could go on and talk about reptilian aliens, but I don't know enough about that to prove to you that it's true. I have friends who know a bit more about reptilian aliens, Anunnaki, that could probably talk circles around me. But if you've ever watched the movie They Live, it's a lot like that. Let me see. Cappy is definitely worth listening to. He also has a video where he says he's alone and saying he's sorry over and over, but you can hear a dog behind. You can hear a dog being slushed in the background and background noise. Keeps telling his viewers he did something really bad. Cannot say what he did, but the whole video was like he knew he was about to die. I am getting a call from my fiance. I am still live, sweetheart. What's going on? Still live. It's Jamie. You could have went online and looked. I love you too. Bye. I love it. I'll tell everyone you said hi. Bye. Everyone, she said hi. She's glad you're watching. Now, again, and I'm going very long today, as you can tell. I'm going long because I'm talking, because if not, man, I'm just thinking or I'm learning. And I do so much fucking learning, and I do so much studying, and I do so much reading, and I do so much focusing, and I do so much just trying to educate myself. And it's not trying to educate yourself on the shit they want you to know. That's what I was trying to explain earlier. The shit they want you to know is there. You don't have to educate yourself. You can't avoid it, okay? Why do you think news channels are free? Why do you think you could put an antenna on your TV and get 10, 12, and 6? It's propaganda. They want you to see it. They're begging for you to see it. It's the shit that they don't want you to see. The shit that Google doesn't fucking come up. The shit that you have a tough time finding. You know? It's fucking wild, man. Fucking wild. Give me something else. What else do you want to hear? Do you want to hear about, let me see. Let me think of some old stuff. Let me think of something that's interesting right now. That's not going to be something I want to do a whole video on. I don't want to kill all my shit for tomorrow too, but I mean, we got 6 people. They're going down. One thing I could say that I'd like to talk a little bit about is indoctrination through music. It's fucked up because through music and movies and television shows. I'm going to use hip-hop as an example. I didn't want to do this yesterday, but we're 2 hours and 36 minutes into a video. I have no problem doing it today for a few minutes. But, television. Thank you, Jay. That's what I'll do. This is perfect, and it leads me to what I'm talking about, television, okay? So, I want to make a point to you here, and I'm going to say this. I heard this in a documentary, and my mind was blown. I don't know how I never looked at this. Television, right? I want you to say the word with me. Television. Now I want you to say it a little slower and individualize the syllables. Tell-a-vision. Tell-a-vision. So here you have a box that was invented, okay, and allows you to see media at home, okay? And what do they label this box? A tell-a-vision. And what comes on a tell-a-vision when you turn it on? You give up? Channels, okay? Channels, like channeling information to you. Channeling, okay? When you channel something, it's sending someone information. It's feeling something. It's pushing something onto someone. Channeling energy. Channels. And what comes on these channels? Are you ready for this one? Programming. Tell-a-vision channels programming. Tell-a-vision channels programming. It's been in front of your face, hiding in plain sight, people. Hiding in plain sight. Television was made for 2 reasons. To tell you how to think and to distract you from thinking for yourself. Exactly what I'm telling you to do right now. If you don't like what I have to say and you don't like my beliefs, by all means, do the research to counter them. But guess what? Everything that I research is the counter to the popular opinion. The popular opinion is what I'm researching the counter of. Okay? The popular opinion is this is what's happening and it's all that's happening. There's nothing going on in the world right now other than police hunting down black people and Donald Trump taking away your rights. But when you do a little bit of research, you find out what's actually happening is police aren't hunting down people, okay? Police spend more of their day protecting people than they do murdering people, okay? Think about how many police murders there are every day. A spoiler alert, you'd hear about every single one of them at this point because the narrative is shit on the police. No one's been killed by the police in weeks. But guess what has happened? Old women have been locked out of their house. They heard a scary sound outside. They had to call the police for help. And the police came and checked out the house. Guess what else has happened? Someone called the police because somewhere their son was talking to an online predator, and they turned the information over to the police, who in turn used that to build a case and arrest this pedophile and get them off the streets. But you forget about that stuff because they don't want to tell you about that stuff. They want to control what you think about. They want you to only think one way. If you're not thinking about police hunting down black people in the streets, then you got it wrong, man. But that's not true. Because you're not using your fucking brain. You're not using your brain if you think like that. Okay? Guys, Bieber is one of the good guys, if anyone was wondering. Tell us how. Feel free to tell us how so anyone in here can do the research. What is he saying? Is he pro-Trump? Is he anti the bad guys? Is he pro-freedom? Does he post views and opinions on Twitter that go outside of the narrative? Because we all know Kanye West is one of the good guys. And look what happened to him. Kanye West went on stage about a year or two ago and was like, yo, man, I don't like this shit. I don't like what they're telling you, man. Donald Trump, man, he's doing the right thing. He's doing what's good for America, man. He ain't evil. People started walking out of his concert because they didn't want to hear it. Next thing you know, he wore a Make America Great Again hat, and he was like, I support Donald Trump. Then all of a sudden, he got brought to a mental institution in Hollywood and spent 2 weeks there. He came out, and what was the very first thing he did? I want to go see the president. He walked right in. He had a half an hour, 45-minute meeting with the president. He put a red hat on. He came out. He did a photo op, and he left. And then he was real quiet for a while. And just now, he's peeked his head back out and said, I'm running for president. And you know what, Kanye? I salute you. I'd appreciate it much more in 2024, but I appreciate it now because what I think you're doing is trying to break the chains that the Democrat plantation has on their liberal slaves. And the way they're doing this, if Bieber's trying to expose the pedophiles, then RIP Justin Bieber. I'm really sorry to hear that he's going to commit suicide coming up soon. I know he's worth a lot of money. It's terrible. He was a talented young kid. I think everybody, I want to give a sad face right here. I'm going to give a sad face. Oh my God, Usher was a molester. You know, I'm going to pin this. Oh, I didn't even know I could pin a comment. I'm still learning about this Facebook streaming thing, man. But yeah, so that's wild. So if he's trying to expose them and he's trying to expose Usher, it's only a matter of time until he commits suicide. Look at R. Kelly. R. Kelly was allowed to operate and no one stopped him and no one did anything. This shit is real, man. This shit is real. And guess who the one person who's not doing this is, unfortunately? I'll give you a hint. His name rhymes with Schmonald May Flump. Okay? He is your president of the United States. He's going to get these people. And that's what I'm here fighting for, because they're trying to trick you that he's the bad guy. They're trying to trick you that these people in Hollywood, the same people who told you Trump is evil, if you look back over the past few years, someone comes out and says Trump is evil, someone gets busted as being a sexual deviant. Every single time it happens, without fail, except for the bigwigs right now, which of course they're setting the big thing up over. One thing I'll talk about right now, and then what I'll do is I'll begin to kind of wrap it up, because it's been 2 hours and 42 minutes, and I want to save something for potentially tomorrow for Wildcard Wednesday. Somebody talked about the emails in the server, and I just watched that Fall of the Cabal movie today, and something that I didn't even know about. So in 2018, I want to say it was July, might have been a different time, don't hold me to the month, but it was 2018. Trump went to Russia to meet with Putin, and Putin handed him a soccer ball. And he said, and now the ball is in your court. And he symbolically threw that ball to his wife, the most beautiful first lady that our country has ever had, which is Melania Trump. Second is Jackie Onassis, in my opinion. I love President Kennedy. I was raised on President Kennedy, just so you know. That was always my guy growing up. And I still, to this day, love President Kennedy. You know, I was raised on President Kennedy. I love Jackie Onassis. I love what the Kennedys represent. John Jr., who was running against Hillary, mysteriously died in a plane accident, giving Hillary the Senate seat unopposed. Very interesting. But the situation here is that, where was I going with this? Is the ball. So he throws the ball to Melania and then says, after Putin says the ball's in your court, he goes, I'm going to give this to my son. People believe, the QAnon people, and I'm not using quotes because they're not real. I'm using quotes because I take QAnon with a grain of salt, because he is speaking about everything that I know to be true, but because you can't verify the difference of real information and misinformation when your source is anonymous, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But if it smells like a goat, it baws like a goat, and it's horny like a goat, then by all means, it might be a fucking jackass. Okay? So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one, because quite frankly, a lot of what they're saying makes sense and it's coming true. And QAnon isn't telling anyone anything. They're not telling anyone to do anything. They're telling people to do their own research. That's what's happening. They're telling people to research for themselves. They're asking questions. QAnon posts ask questions, okay? Oh, cutting the line here, Ryan Pitts. But no, it's okay. He just gave me some viewing information. He should have shared it here in the group. But they claim that that soccer ball represents the email server, and that the reason Donald gave it to his son Barron is because Barron Trump is actually a genius, a legitimate genius with an IQ of 146. FYI, genius is 140. I'm aware of this because when I was in elementary school, I was given an IQ test and I placed a 135, and I was told I was 5 points away from a genius. This is when I was in first grade, okay? But the point I'm trying to make is they believe, the QAnon people, that they have the servers and that Barron Trump was able to reverse engineer and get the emails, and that when the storm is coming is when the, because right now there are sealed indictments, okay? Sealed indictments. And what that means is there are people who are going to be arrested as soon as these indictments become unsealed, because the indictments are attached to a name, and when you're indicted, you need to appear in front of a judge. So these sealed indictments are for these people, and these people are going to face their day in court. And if they are guilty of high treason, I'm not here to promote violence, but I just want to say that I believe in this country. The actual punishment for high treason in this country still is death, and I believe it's death by hanging. I don't think that has changed. So if these people are found guilty of high treason, which of course videos of raping children and selling children for their own personal gain, and also using the power and abusing the power invested in them through being elected to positions of power in the United States government, does constitute high treason, as well as Spygate, as well as FISA abuse. There are tons of reasons why these people are going to be indicted. But in closing, I want to say at 2 hours and 47, you know what? We'll go to 3. We'll go to 3 hours. I'm going to look through. I'm going to go through a few more. If you got anything else to say, now's the time to add it in. We'll do a little bit more, and we'll go ahead and we'll try to stretch it over to 3 hours. We'll hit that 3 hour point. What's 13 minutes between friends, right? We're all Americans. We love freedom. We're very proud to be American. Again, embracing my free speech. I'm saying a bunch of shit that no one's supposed to talk about. I'm saying a bunch of shit that you're not going to hear on TV. These aren't conservative viewpoints. These aren't Democrat viewpoints. These are viewpoints that you are not supposed to have, because you're not supposed to have this information. There are Republicans that are going to go down as well. Don't you notice the group of Republicans that was in power when Trump got elected looks a lot different than the Republicans today? That's because the non-Trump Republicans have been forced out in favor of Trump Republicans. Trump Republicans are good Republicans who are actually looking for our freedom and who are going to vote for bills that support the agenda of the American people, which is giving us our country back. Brian, watch the first 30 seconds of the video I sent. It's not more than 30 seconds long. It's the palace. FBI is coming for you. I also want to add that you should share the video right now on your Facebook. And I also want to add that I am not suicidal. I have no plans on running away from my family. I have no plans on disappearing. I have no plans on getting into a car accident. I have no plans on leaving social media. I have no plans on stopping telling the truth, and I will not be changing my, unless I'm proved wrong. If someone can prove me wrong, then of course I will absolutely admit that I'm wrong and say this stuff is not happening. But until I'm proved wrong, I'm sure it's happening. I'm not, I just heard Jamie come in. I don't know if we're going to make it to 3 hours because she's been working since early this morning. Oh my God. Izzy, Cappy's last uploaded Dead Man Switch. A Dead Man Switch is insurance. That's what's done between these people who, if you are in this rich, all right, ready? So I'm going to explain this to you. So one thing I want to explain about this global pedophile ring, okay? I'm going to watch the video in a second. But one thing I want to explain about the global pedophile ring is that it is done to satiate these evil people's needs and for this evil satanic reason, because you have to kill the kids. You have to kill the kids and eat them when you're done with them. You can't let them grow up in adults and go out into the wild because then they're going to tell people what happened to them. They're not normal. You can't raise a kid as a sex slave and then send them out at 18 and say, go get a job and live on your own. You can't do that. You have to kill them. That's how you keep your secret. So, but the reason that this is important is these people are videotaped and photographed with these children, and it's done as a form of blackmail. Because there are tapes of these rich elite politicians having sex and raping, not having sex, because you have sex with adults. There are videos of these people raping these children, okay? And it's done because, we'll use Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton goes to the island. He rapes the children. He gets his rocks off. He does whatever he wants to do. You want to fuck the kids? You fuck the kids. But now we have a video of you. You're free to come fuck the kids whenever you want. But if you don't do what we tell you to do, we're going to release the video. You're going to get arrested for being a rapist, being a child rapist. So they comply. It's blackmail. And a lot of times they're tricked. A lot of times a new politician will get invited to a party. He'll go with a girl that is a beautiful girl and doesn't tell him her age. And they get together and they're in a room. They're secretly videotaped. And then they come out of the room and it's, hey, by the way, just so you know, that girl's 15 years old. We just got you on tape. And if you don't do what we say, you're fucked. Bang. But guess what? Guess who doesn't have any of those tapes? Guess who doesn't? Guess who's not featured on a tape fucking a child? I'll give you a hint. It's Donald Trump. You know how I know this? Because if he was, it would have been made public already. You would have seen the footage. Although it's child pornography, it would be being played on the news. Who could be calling me? It is my father-in-law upstairs. Bear with me for one moment, because if I don't, he's going to come down here. Hey, Joe, what's going on? I can. Can you give me a couple minutes? I'm in the middle of a Facebook live stream video, and I have an audience viewing me right now talking to you. As soon as my video is done, Jamie's actually on her way home, so if she gets home first, she will gladly do it. If not, I will come upstairs, and I will happily do that for you. I'm just in the midst. I have an audience right now. All right, not a problem. Thank you, Joe. Bye. I apologize for that. He is my father-in-law. He is very good to me. I will do anything that he asks, but I'm not going to walk upstairs again to put eye drops in his eyes at the moment, which is what he was asking me to do, because he just recently had a procedure done with his eyes. But let's check these chats out real quick, because I am distracted, and I wanted to go back. Oh, the blackmail. That's where I was at. So now we're going to watch this video. So let's watch it. Everyone else, I suggest you do the same thing. It looks creepy as shit. I'm about to hit play in 3, 2, 1. Cappy's last upload, Dead Man Switch. It is children on top of some strange thing in their underwear and little dresses, walking, pouring water. There's mad children. There's one sticking her hands in a bath. And there's 2 more children with their face in the corner in the background that you could barely notice. That is fucking creepy. That is a Dead Man Switch if I haven't seen one. All of the description is written in German. So that's interesting right there. That is very interesting. All right, so with that being said, certainly don't know. I mean, again, I don't know enough about Cappy to know who those kids might be or who he is. Oh no, that's Tom Hanks. You said he was working with and that he was holding that over. So yeah, that most likely has to do with Tom Hanks. Brian, watch the first video. It's not more than 30 seconds long. It's the Palace. FBI is coming for you. I'm not going to kill myself. It's right up there in the chat. Did you know Drake consistently wears the owl, a.k.a. Moloch, on shirts and even has an album cover or a single, can't remember? You will see many powerful people wearing owls or having owl statues. Not only that, you will see people wearing pedophile statues, pizza statues, upside-down crosses. And what is Drake, people? A child star. And when you're a child star, they have to keep you close because you know their secrets. They fuck you as a child, and then you grow up to be an adult. They make you rich and famous. You, in turn, get to fuck other children. But you have to continue to push their narrative. Yes, I'm going to do, as long as this video gets more views than the last one, which I have a feeling that it will because I went for a long time. I talked about a lot of controversial topics. I saw the current view count go to a lot higher than I did in previous days. I'm going to do another video tomorrow. It's 11 views now. I like it. Tomorrow is going to be what is called Wednesday, Wild Card Wednesday, a.k.a. Dealer's Choice, which is going to be me talking about whatever the hell I think of between now and then. Bloody handprints right on their hat. Why do you think he's dead now? Are you talking about in that video there was bloody handprints? Let's look back one more time if that's what you're referring to. I don't see any hats, so I'm going to say no. But I think it's more creepy. Those two girls in the pink in the background. One of them, they both look topless, as a matter of fact, which is even weirder. This girl is getting water and pouring it into something weird. That's fucking just weird. I don't even know what to say. Jesus Christ. And Google is not giving, YouTube is not giving me any suggestions of any like videos. So this is definitely a one-off video with only 83,000 views. That's fucking weird. Makes me want to search for Dead Man Switch in quotations on YouTube and see if there are any other Dead Man Switches out there. But with this being said, people, 2 hours and 56 minutes. I had a fucking blast with you guys today. Like I said, this isn't my first go-around. Anyone who's known me for years has known that this is something that I've thought and believed for a long period of time. Many years ago, I would state it as 9/11 is an inside job. I used to be what was called a 9/11 truther. Before the era of Donald Trump, a 9/11 truther is someone who is trying to expose the truth behind 9/11, being that it was an inside job and it was a controlled demolition, and it was not the result of a rogue terrorist organization who decided to hijack planes and fly them into towers. So very interesting in that sense. We have 10 viewers right now. I want to ask all 10 of you guys to share this video on your Facebook page. Absolutely do everything you can to increase the visibility of this, because the more people that can hear me talk, listen, man, I don't mean to be a condescending asshole if I come across as one on Facebook. I promise you I don't. The bottom line is I've known this shit for so long. It's in my fucking brain. And every single day that goes by, it is getting more public that the shit that I've been telling people for the better part of 20 years is being confirmed. It's being confirmed. I'm not the crazy person anymore. I'm not in the minority. There are a lot of people who think like I think. There are a lot of people who know what I know, but they choose not to come on social media and to talk about this and to spread this, either because they're not as knowledgeable, because they haven't done as much research, because they're not as good with public speaking as I am. I don't know what it is, but I know that I check off all the boxes to talk about it, so I'm going to. And I'm going to do it for each and every one of you. Each and every one of you who is watching this video, I absolutely promise you that I will continue to fight the good fight for freedom, for justice, for the American way, the Denver airport. The pictures display the end times in plain sight. Yes, that is true, and I believe I first saw that on Jesse Ventura's Conspiracy Theory. I would absolutely recommend looking up that show. It's very hard to find. You might have to look on BitTorrent to find original copies of the show because they were edited. One was removed completely. The one that showed the FEMA camps, that one was removed entirely. That one was actually taken off of people's DVRs. But I absolutely want to suggest that you guys go look up Jesse Ventura Conspiracy Theory. look up the Denver airport. As far as Wayfair goes, Tom Harris knows. My boy Tom Harris is in here. Thank you, Tom, for checking us out. I'm very glad you came on a little late into the show. I hope you rewind it, check us all out. I know Tom's out there on the road working hard. Tom's doing what I want to do, which is keeping America safe. I want to keep America free. I want to keep America informed. I want to keep America's eyes open. And I want to help keep America great. Donald Trump 2020. HAARP. Now, there's a great one we could talk about one day. How we have the technology to manipulate the weather. Now, Wayfair, when it comes to Wayfair, Wayfair is still an open, what's the word I'm looking for? It is an ongoing issue. So I can't sit here and tell you all the information. To be honest with you, you guys at this point could probably tell me more about Wayfair specifically because I'm aware of what's going on, the cabinets, the pictures on the bookshelves. If you put it into photo forensics, you could see that the pictures are actually manipulated to make the books say the names of books that have to do with eating children and cannibalism and satanic rituals. And then these, cabinets are being sold for $10,000. But then there's conflicting opinions where you don't actually. You're gonna love this one. Oh man, this is about to get a little crazy. So, when it comes to these pictures, okay, what you need to do is you need to take the numbers and you need to search for. You ready for this? Go on DuckDuckGo. And you guys, you might want to turn your privacy mode on for this one. But go to DuckDuckGo. Maybe even use a VPN. And search for SRC space USA. And then put in the SKU numbers of some of these cabinets that are being sold. So SRC space USA. And then a SKU number. Or even just SRC space USA. And you will be sick to your stomach. Sick to your stomach. Remember to bring up HAARP tomorrow. We're going to talk more about HAARP tomorrow. HAARP is a great thing to talk about. I know a little bit about HAARP. Again, learn from Jesse Ventura's Conspiracy Theory, which is a great show, a great watch. That's actually, that show in particular is the reason that one of my friends is an independent thinker and isn't just a sheep, because he trusted Jesse Ventura enough because he's a Navy SEAL. He's a fighter. Listen, Monsoon, I can't believe what they tell people about the HAARP and about the FEMA camps these days. This is Jesse the Body Ventura. I was the governor of Minnesota. I'm here to tell you that I love America and I'll do anything to fight the corruption. But I want you to know very much so that Jesse Ventura is good people. I would probably vote for Jesse Ventura over anyone other than Donald John Trump. Just saying. I wouldn't if he ran as a Democrat, though. I'll be honest. I wouldn't if he ran as a Democrat, but he never would. He never would. He'd run as an independent. And that's the only way that he should run. Kanye said if Trump wasn't in the election, he'd run as a Republican. Those SKU numbers match SKU to kids. Yes, absolutely. J. Rick Revicalis, very interesting weather manipulation with HAARP. Very true. Hurricane Katrina targeted to kill black people and poor people. And it's not just black people, it's poor people. But it is very much targeted to kill those people. I was fortunate enough to go to New Orleans in one of my two favorite weekends of my life for WrestleMania 34. I got to witness AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura-san. In WrestleMania. It was absolutely amazing. I had a great time. But I drove through some of these neighborhoods and I saw some of these areas, and there is a lot of poor people in New Orleans. A lot of poor people. A lot of addiction. A lot of poor people on Bourbon Street. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. My fiance told me flat out, I do not want to go back to New Orleans. I say I'd love to go back to New Orleans if I could get a group of my friends to show up, like I was fortunate enough to be with on Sunday night. I had a great time with a bunch of technicians who came up WrestleMania weekend to hang out and chill. You could actually see a picture of me on Facebook. If you take a look at my Facebook and you look at my banner picture, it's me in a Ribera Steakhouse jacket that a gentleman who does a podcast with Road Warrior Animal was fortunate enough to let me wear and take some pictures in with Rami. He knows. He was there at WrestleMania with me. So it was actually phenomenal. Okay, my eyes kill now. See you tomorrow. Okay, yeah, exactly. I'm getting off, you guys. I love you all. It was supposed to be Undertaker's last match. We got robbed of that. It's true. It ended up being against in a tag match with Roman Reigns, but it really ended up being, and this is why it's cool, Rami, it ended up being in a graveyard match and no one was there. And we all got to experience it equally live together on Saturday night this past year at WrestleMania. But I'm not here to talk about wrestling, although I'd love to do that one day, but no one would care. I'm not here to talk about going to New Orleans for one of my favorite trips. Also, Flint, Michigan, water contamination, people to get sick. Yeah, that's just fucked up. I don't know if there's a conspiracy about that. There very much might be, but I think that really just has to do with mismanagement of government funds and not cleaning water properly due to such corruption. If you understand the story of what happened in Detroit many years ago, I don't even want to actually touch on that because I don't know what it is, but I know something happened and it caused all the business to leave Detroit, which turned them into a very poor city. Detroit used to be one of the most prosperous and one of the most wealthy and successful cities in the entire country. And then there was a law passed of some sort. I heard Candace Owens talking about it. Her with, I believe it was Larry Elder. And everyone left Detroit. And Detroit is now a city that is poverty-stricken. And it was due to a Democrat policy. You up against the greatest wrestler, AJ Styles, I already told you about. So I don't know where you guys are on the delay. But what I do know is that I'm going to be out of here. My lovely fiance is home. She got her toenails done. So as weird as this sounds, and I'm not a foot fetish guy, but I can't wait to go out there and take a look at my fiance's toenails. So with that being said, I'm going to end it the way I always end it with, and what are you going to do, brother, when the pride of the US of A and this real American rumble all over you? Ah. Bye, everybody. Join me tomorrow. Make sure you share this video. And I genuinely love you all. I care about a free America. I care about your children. Have a great night.